power bars.
All right, hello, lads, ladies, and everyone between and beyond. It's What's Up. I'm Lucky. That's Omega. Real quick, I'm gonna be a little awkward here for a second because prior to this, I was thinking, I got like an hour. I should probably make me something to eat. Cue an hour later. What I'm making to eat is currently in its final stages of preparation, simmering in a pot. So I'm gonna have to get up every few minutes and go stir that shit.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So right now you're on Back for Blood, a
Yep.
game which just came free to PS Plus extra levels and
Yep.
higher. I myself was thinking of playing a little before we got started with the stream, but I also had to feed myself, and by the time I was done, it was too late to get into it. Chat, I'm not playing with Lucky right now because on Thursday, actually, when this first dropped, I tried to do a little multitasking while we had a good long Civ sesh, but I had to drop that after a while because something you will notice about this game, as Lucky has to go check on his soup every once in a while, is even when you are playing offline with all bots, you cannot pause, per se.
Yeah.
So it's hard to split your attention, but yeah, you'll probably see some moments where Lucky, if he has to,
Like
well,
right
he
now,
will have
hang
to
on,
get up
right
and leave to
back.
check his soup. Yeah, like that. He's gonna have to just crouch and let the 3 bots save his butt, which you can do. So we've played a little Back for Blood solo and together, and we'll be talking about it later. You'll be able to see Lucky go through some gameplay. To kind of a real quick recap there. Actually, no, I won't recap just yet. I'll use this opportunity while Lucky away is real quick to remind you this episode is still brought to you by our patrons, like Adam DeHart, Marco 10, Bucks to G, Carlos, Dragon, Ferris, Fight the Sidesbird, Jerry Vasquez, Just the Fae, John Sandoval, Legendary Boss Hunter, Regent Raptor, Rise of Kenji, Ro Robin, Sharvor, Sean Pyre, Some Kind of 723, and Baron the Crow. Hey, bada bada, hey, swing bada. Okay, Lucky's back.
I'm back.
I used my time wisely. All right. But yeah, so we've played this both together online and offline separately, and in general, I think we both have a lot of positive things to say for it.
Yeah.
Immediately, there's a couple of things I think I see as like small nitpicks that I could talk about. One of them is obviously the like constantly online, active, no pausing thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games that are like that a little bit, and it's just kind of awkward. I understand, obviously, if you're in a live multiplayer session doing that. And honestly, if what Axe told us yesterday is true, I do kind of understand why the underlying code doesn't pause properly, because supposedly when this game launched, it was a couple years ago now? 1 year,
Yeah, I
2
believe it
years?
was 2001.
Okay. So, there were no bots. Which, I will admit, that does seem like a problem, yes. That seems like that should have been a launch feature. Obviously, I understand lots of games these days really, really want to push getting your friends involved so, you know, you can convince your friends to buy 3 more copies of this game, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And all that fun stuff. But we're all busy adults with stuff to do, and coordinating with your friends is hard sometimes. So having
Bitch!
offline modes and shit like that, I've always been a big fan of like making sure there's at least some single-player accessibility to a lot of things. Hell, even Final Fantasy XIV, you know, has stuff to assist. There's, you know, duty assistance for story-related content, so that you don't necessarily have to find friends or deal with pugs to get you through, you know, the story content to the stuff they want you to pay monthly every month for. So yeah, if there was no bots, I could definitely understand why this game had a little bit of a lukewarm response. And then the other thing is something that apparently people have complained about when it came out is the campaigns and gameplay segments are a little bit lengthy sometimes. Like, sometimes some of them are only like a couple of acts that go by pretty fast. Other segments are like, you know, 4 or 5 sections long, and there's no real, again, there's no pausing, there's no proper breaks in between. The best thing you can hope for is that when you hit a safe room is if you need to take like a bio break, stretch your legs, check on your soup, whatever is, nobody opens up the safe room door to leave until you're all ready, right? Now, you can just quit. If you reach a safe house, you reach a safe point where Whoever's setting up your campaign or your multiplayer rooms or whatever can just go back to that point relatively seamlessly, it seems like. And that's not as big of a deal, but still that means you got to do the whole quit and get everybody back in and get everybody back out thing. So I can understand why when that game came out, it might have been a little awkward for people.
This is not the map to have a fucking melee build. Son of a fucking bitch.
There's a lot of guys shooting stuff at you. You were having a bad time.
Yeah.
You're in the goop. He's lost in the sauce.
Looks like we made it.
All right, I think I got a moment. I'll be right back.
Let's not wait around for him
Yeah.
to come back.
But that aside, well, we talk about this. The game is good. Like core gameplay, this game is good. If people were truly saying like, oh, you can just still play Left 4 Dead 2, those people are wrong. I know that there are some people out there who are. I'm trying to find the right way to phrase this, slightly politely, but there's some people who are retro enthusiasts who have nostalgia for old school janky games, you know, which I certainly can empathize with. I've talked about this before, chat. I'm not a big graphics guy. My eyeballs have a hard time telling you the difference between HD and not HD a lot of the time. Depending on the game we're playing, I can't recognize the difference between 30 and 60 frames sometimes, it feels like. So I understand, like, people being like, graphics don't matter, because graphics don't matter. Like, I've always said, like, graphics are the extra sauce on top, you know? Yeah, these guys just suck. Snitches do get stitched. Fucking suck. Yeah, you just fucking beat that guy's ass. But, like, graphics are like an extra spice on a game. Like, a game you can sell just on its pure graphical beauty. But if you don't have that graphical beauty, for instance, if your player base has to activate potato mode to even play your game, because otherwise their console or their PC, flies up into the sky and hits Mach 1, that's no good. But if people are genuinely being like, oh no, Left 4 Dead 2 is a better game. No, it's not. It isn't. I'm here to tell you, chat. I've played these two games. Oh gosh. Was it within the same 30 days?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty close together. I've played Left 4 Dead 2, and I've played Back 4 Blood now. You can tell Back 4 Blood was a game that finally came out in 2021. The animate, I'm on controller. It's different for different control schemes. Shooting, beautiful. It is just, it is a joy to do these weapons. All the recoils like feel like appropriate and fresh. You know, you don't like hold the trigger down for 5 seconds and then immediately point straight up. You will eventually if you just keep mag dumping, but there's a certain amount of natural reset, which is what happens in real life if you've never fired a gun. Your body posture kind of goes back to the way it was. The only reason why your hand moves at all is because the recoil is, greater than your body strength. And guess what? There are a lot of calibers of firearm that don't generate enough recoil for you to move at all. I have played this game a decent amount with just using pistols for precision shots. And it's very funny because I like to play one of the characters, Doc, but I'm a surgeon with a medium caliber semi-automatic pistol. You pull the trigger once and it resets. This is another thing I think that is better designed than Left 4 Dead 2. Just rando Zambos, squishy as hell. You can do basically anything to a run-of-the-mill Ridden, because they're weird leech zombies. That's also something that is just, I need zombie games to get over. They're all just zombies. Stop trying to make it weird.
Oh, actually, I found a note that says, that literally said, we're not calling them Zeds.
Yeah.
There's some
I know.
funny notes.
I kind of wish zombie games would. I appreciate that they acknowledged it explicitly. I do kind of wish as a genre, zombies would get over that. Because it's just, we all know they're zombies, guys. Stop trying to, like, even with Red Markets, a zombie survival tabletop RPG, which is really cool, and I absolutely will get this group into sometime. even then, when they're talking about them like as casualties versus vectors, that's explicitly because they use the language of like a government freaky deaky cover. Also, holy shit, you got some spicy corruption cards on or something right now. You
Oh,
are
yes.
being fucking swarmed. There's a
Yeah.
lot of assholes.
They're- Why are you
But
coming
yeah,
after
so-
me?
As opposed to some complaints we had playing Left 4 Dead 2 on like normal, where I would repeatedly dump 5.56 rounds down range at a guy, and he would stumble. I'd shoot him another 4 times, he'd stumble. You shoot him another couple of times, and he finally falls over. If you tickle a Ridden with a bullet, they will probably die. And like I said, the gunplay action is really smooth. You'll notice right now, Lucky's hip firing a lot
Well,
because.
I got rid of my ability to aim down the sights. I'm wearing a helmet.
Oh, okay. So you've got a helmet on that removes your ADS, but I assume gives you better protection. But what I'm going to bring up, you'll notice that doesn't really seem to be impacting your gameplay that much. You can hip fire very well in this game. There's no like, oh, because you're hip firing, your bullets go literally everywhere. That's just not how guns are made. So I want to say shout out to these developers for like, actually I think doing their research and like being familiar with how firearms work and how you can handle them, and all that stuff. And you can have both gameplay balanced firearms and also like have them feel appropriate and fun. Because I'm not going to say that there isn't like gameplay conceit stuff here. I have picked up guns like they've got the Vector submachine gun, very advanced little weird thing. But I think the default version of that you pick up has like or at least the one I found like in the wild had a 19 round magazine. It's not how submachine guns work, guys, but I understand it's it's supposed to be very accurate and strong. At one point I picked up a higher rarity Magnum revolver that had 8 shots. I don't know if you can comfortably fit an 8-round cylinder on a 357 Magnum. There's only so much geometric space there, so there's still, gameplay stuff here, but for the most part everything feels pretty good. Hip firing's no problem. If you actually ADS, you can be fairly accurate. There's a wide variety of weapons. It was also a game that came out recently, so there's, some fun, newer, interesting guns. Like I mentioned, there's the Vector. They have AA-12s in this game for fully automatic shotguns. They've got a wide variety of pump and semi-automatic shotguns. There's a sidearm that's a sawed-off shotgun, the Belgian. Lots of pistols, rifles, everything. So, there's a lot to be said for you to be able to, kind of pick your build, control your flow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of the same developers who actually made Left 4 Dead 2, so I think they had time to improve their craft. There's a wide variety of survivors. And they're mostly generic. They do have different aesthetics and different cosmetics you can unlock, and all of them have like a specific special perk to them.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's like really open-ended. Like I said, I've been mainlining Doc a lot, which is very simple. Doc just basically gets an extra bonus heal on allies, like I think it's once per safe house.
Okay.
And I think she does just better with healing items in general, is the other thing. Everybody has a different starting loadout as well. But so there's like very minor little perks that are unique to each player, but otherwise it's mostly just like aesthetic choices and like starting loadouts.
Ooh.
It's pretty solid.
Okay. I'm gonna need that.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff here. So the other thing you can see Lucky shopping around right now is you have a deck of cards, they call it. Decks, cards.
Mm-hmm.
It's some people I think maybe misunderstood what they meant by that. I guess they wanted like a cutesy name. It's just like a perk tree or a perk list. You unlock new items or whatever, and the devs just compressed all of that down into the deck system. So what in different games would be like, you could choose to equip the running shoes or equip the armor plate. Now you have like, was there like 15 cards in the deck?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a 15 card deck, and that can be anything from like special gadgets, gear, passive boosts to like, you know, attitude stuff like what was that last one we found last night? Was it called Belligerent? You
Yeah.
get like a permanent slight increase to your damage every time a horde is called
Yes.
that just starts stacking up to a capped maximum per game. Another, by the way, improvement over Left 4 Dead 2 is hordes are signified by an icon that includes a timer that lets you know when they go away.
Well,
So
we're in the
you still have all the same stuff that can start it. There's, you know, birds that can be loud. There's car alarms. There's house alarms, shit like that, you know. But the game lets you know when a horde is coming and when it's going to end. So you can, you know, keep track of that. Chad has been talking a lot about the different special infected that are in this game, and it does actually seem like they've done a lot to improve those archetypes over the years, right? You know, there's your normal ones. There's the tall boys. Yes, they are called tall boys. They have big arms,
Big arms.
and they kind of smoosh you. There's the exploders who explode. Sometimes the exploder is a reeker. He can also puke on you. And that's another thing. A lot of them have subtypes. Like crushers are like tall boys, but they can also have a command grab where they grab you and crush you. And then, like I said, some exploders are also reekers. They can puke on you. There are
Yeah.
stingers who shoot needles at you.
Yeah, basically what that has is there's like 4 or 5 like base like special types, but each of them have like a certain amount of mutations, so you can get a wide variety of things that just come and fuck your day up.
Yeah. And some of them are really weird. Like, Chad has already seen them. I don't remember what they're called because they come in a couple varieties. But basically, they are just like the pile of leeches that comes into the ground and forms a thing. And they can do a wide variety. Some of them spit fire at you. Some of them, like, summon leeches to lock you up. Shit like that. It's real gross and weird.
Distance, pansy.
Lots of gross, weird shit in this game. He's going with Iron Claws.
That's like I said, this is something I enjoy. You can just build yourself about just running up the things and just cutting them up. It gives me life.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? I was talking about with the perk deck is and stuff like that. The gameplay's a lot deeper than Left 4 Dead 2. Left 4 Dead games are old. They're kind of simple. They're very basic arcade shooters. There's different like variety in some of the level design and stuff, but mostly they're all the same. Run to the next safe house, blow some stuff up. Sometimes you get hordes. You will have to shoot. You can choose between like 2 guns or like a melee weapon. This still does do that. You know, the melee weapons are usually your secondary slot. But you can also spec to be like, okay, yes, I have melee in my secondary slot, but also I'm really good at it.
Well, yeah, no, like I have cards that give me buffs when I kill things. Like those are those circles down there at the bottom. You can see. Oh, I scared the birds. Good job, me.
It happens. Fucking birds.
Like, I have ability that, you know, every time I get a kill with a melee weapon, I get a point of health back. So, you know, it encourages me to wait in there and keep, there's a card that I saw on one of the supply lines is, you know, every time you kill a Ridden within, you know, 2.5 meters, you get a point of temporary health. I'm just like, oh, this would be excellent for, you know, charging in there with melee. Can't get any closer than melee. Just saying.
True.
Nothing like a day in the country.
And yeah, so Chad has also seen the supply lines, which is there's a little hub area. It's kind of neat. You go there between missions and stuff. Oh, also there's a decent amount of looter shooter aspects to this as well, but not like in like a permanent way. But there's lots of crates hidden around which contain supply drops, weapons, shit like that. As you go further in the campaign sections, the weapons tend to get higher quality.
Optional start. Oh, I don't have a tool. Oh, because I was broke. That's right. Well, I guess we got to go into the fucking corn. This is going to be great.
Well, at least it's an interesting optional objective.
Well, I think
Watch
the
out
bots
for the
know
shield
where they
of the
fucking
corn.
are, because I sure as don't.
Well, there were some green beans in the corn. But yeah, so the
hi.
game has an aspect of like scavenging and improving yourself mid-run. Not only do you get to pick your starting perks and you know, pick your survivor to get a different starting weapon and stuff, but you'll find new weapons, new perk decks, new, you know, other passive stuff, generic things out there. New cards, basically. So it's pretty solid. We're having a fun time. If Lucky doesn't mind, I'll probably, I'll probably play solo and play this after we're done here. But, we might do some more online stuff.
I don't mind. Hui! Booyah!
Having fun. But yeah, so overall, very solid. Admittedly, we didn't pay any money for this game standalone. It's PlayStation Plus, but it's a pretty solid pickup. I know they've come out with a lot of expansions, so again, I don't know, like if content was a little lean when the game first came out, I think it was, full price for the time, so that might have been a little bit of a big ask.
I think if I remember correctly, that's what I heard. People say it was a good game, but it wasn't, full price game good. Like,
yeah, that unfortunately happens.
In the last
like
few
if I
days
remember
before,
what people were saying,
everyone's talking about.
there's been like 3 expansions, I think, each about $14.99. They each add another act. So I think this is like that last act I have for free before I have, buy one. So while that is a fair amount of content, it's not like a lot.
Yeah.
Through here. Is that a radio station?
And that's definitely a thing I've noticed more these days is I feel like game developers or publishers are getting better at like figuring out the appropriate price point of their game because there is actually a lot of wiggle room these days. Like say for instance, okay, Dead Space Remake just locked in my pre-order. That's the full $70 because that's a next gen remake of an old game. Oh, there he was. There's a big bungalus. He spat some fire at you.
Oh, a horde's coming, you say?
But like for instance, some games that came out last year that I really enjoyed, like well, it was also on PS Plus. I think Stray was like $40.
Stealing other people's money. I'm with you.
I paid like $25, I think, for the base game of Cult of the Lamb. Another really great game. Like games understand their price points a little better, and you can absolutely make a game a bad sell if you sell it for full price.
Yeah.
Because people will go, okay, you've got like a live service game that I have to, do microtransactions to actually play for, or this game, has no content in it. You want me to pay $70 when I could, either play an old game that I already have, or I could play another new game that gives me like 200 hours. For all the prices and stuff. It's a thing. But Back for Blood is good.
Just a bunch of free stock, competition stock. I got nothing.
Time now.
Nah. Hey, call. Why not? Hello.
And yes, there's a lot of real... I mentioned it earlier, but X brought it up again in chat a little bit ago. There's a lot of real gross shit. The Ridden can be real grody. Even the default guys can have like a couple of different mutation versions. There are some who have like weird spiky heads. There were some glowing brain guys you had last gameplay section you were on.
Oh yeah, no.
There's some different stuff in there.
Oh, it's cool. Woo! Everyone can stay outside. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's another. The bot inclusion is very smart. You can shut bots out of the safe house. It doesn't matter. Only players count. Good selling. How's your soup situation, Lucky?
It's currently cooling. I'm kind of hungry, so I'm gonna have to slurp quietly in the background, but it still's got to cool a little bit. Thicken up.
Quiet slurping. That's like an album name in there somewhere. All right, let me see what else I got in my list of things. Back for Blood will probably be an ongoing subject.
Rover 2, I've told Rogers
So
to expect
Crunchyroll did announce their
Get to
Anime
the banner
Awards
as soon as you can.
nominees.
Mhm.
The award show's not for a little bit. They've done some interesting stuff this year. Overall, I think they did something that's better because the Crunchyroll Award Anime Awards have been accused of a lot of recency bias over the years.
Mhm.
Because almost always they're nominated, and what wins is stuff that like just came out in fall. So they've basically avoided that this year.
Yeah.
And if we want to get into it, I can pull up the list of nominees.
Oh,
And I
please.
assume I will pull them up because Lucky is probably better versed at this, but he is trying to eat soup and playing the game, so. Because I'll be real with you, chat. Some of these, hadn't even heard of them. Let's see. Voting ends in roughly 4 days. And the show will actually be March 4th.
Oh,
Feels like a really long time on votes to, production. But let's see. We'll start at the top. 6 nominees for Anime of the Year. You've got Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2. That's very funny because I think they just announced the final episodes, Part 2, Part 1, or whatever. They're taking a long time to finish Attack on Titan. It's very funny.
You know what? Forget
it.
Let's just get out
Demon
of here.
Slayer Entertainment District Arc, Core 2 of Ranking of Kings, Licorice Recoil, Spy X Family, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners. You guys know where I'm voting. But I do find it interesting, and I'm glad that they're specifically calling out like which parts or which seasons were the parts that are relevant for the year that you're voting on, because that can be important, especially with the way anime production is these days, where stuff can get broken out over a little bit. I don't think there's anything crazy going on there in Anime of the Year. Your thoughts, Lucky? Nope. Lucky's controller's unplugged. He's working on his soup, I think. But does he have a salad or a sandwich? Chad, you can let me know your thoughts on the Anime Awards. It says there's only 3 people watching, which is weird, because there were 5 of you when we started, but some of you might be tabbed out or doing something else.
Why? There it is. Fuck. Okay.
Might be. Like I said, I think we've discussed this before. If you have the video open but like tab away, YouTube will no longer count you as a concurrent viewer. Hammer.
There we go. Sorry, my fucking controller was like, I'm dying, and I'm all like, okay, where'd I put that cord? Because I accidentally
It
ripped it out when I tripped over something earlier today.
Of course, yes.
Then I flung it. I was like, blah! And I was like, okay, where'd I go blah to?
Let's do this. They have no manners. Something's on fire, and
But so,
I know
I
what
will
you're thinking,
I will
but
reiterate Anime of the Year nominees.
Yes.
not just me today.
Did you catch the list, or do you want me to read it again?
Read it again, please.
Okay, so it's Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2, Demon Slayer Entertainment Arc, and Entertainment District Arc. Sorry, these are really... I was talking about this while we were fighting the cable. I appreciate that they shout out what particular seasons or arcs are the parts being animated, but also it means some of these entries are kind of wordy. It's Ranking of Kings Core 2, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, Licorice Recoil, and Spy Actually, I don't know. Is it actually said Spy X Family, or is it just Spy Family?
It's Spy X Family. The X is silent, apparently. I don't know why they do this. It's like Hunter x Hunter and like other such things.
Oh my god, guys, then stop putting the fucking X in it.
Where there's smoke.
You can read math both ways that way. It's probably because in Japanese they have the fucking superscript with like the you know, the different characters for how it's supposed to be read, just in case you can't read Spy Family, so they can explain that there's no X or by or times. Anyway, thoughts on the nominees, Lucky?
Well, most likely what was gonna roll is probably Liko Rico or what's that? Or Demon Slayer. Attack on Titan's probably gonna come in close because that has a very popular following.
Yeah, it does.
Like very popular. But Liko Rico has been doing a fucking Stone Cold Stellar on a lot of people there.
Yeah, it was very big while it was airing, if I
Yes.
recall correctly. Obviously, y'all know I'm pulling for Edge Runners, but
I would
these
like,
are Crunchyroll's anime awards, and Edge Runners is exclusive to Netflix, so we'll see how that goes.
I think Edge Runner has a good chance, but unfortunate. It's just a little unfortunate.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, I mean, I don't actually know how well it was received by anime fans, like, overall. I do know that a lot of people were like, hey, this might be Trigger's best work, you know, like, it's got some of their best animation and visual design and stuff going on, you know. And obviously, like, on its own, Edge Runners really, like, grabbed the internet by the brain. To this day, I still see Rebecca memes and stuff. But I also, like, I don't know how well the respondents of Crunchyroll's Anime Awards will bite on it. Especially after, you know, you and I were both slightly disappointed, but not surprised when there was that category at the Game Awards and Arcane took it. But all right. Roll my bones. So, actually, they've got a tooltip for this. Because their next category is Best Original Anime, and they clarify with a little tooltip. Love these. An original anime is not adapted from a source material. It is a, you know, thus a unique creation. So their nominees in this category are Birdie Wing, Licorice Recoil, Vampire in the Garden, Healer Girl, The Orbital Children, and Yurei Deko.
It's gonna be
On.
Liko Rico.
Yeah, because I gotta tell you, I haven't heard of half of these.
I've heard of a few of them, but I think Liko Rico is like the only, maybe the only one I seriously watch.
Yeah. I admit I'm not as plugged into anime as I once was, but I still am on the internet, and so, no. Licorice Recoil is the one out of these I've heard people actually mention. That'll probably mean that some of these shows, for them to be nominated, have some real diehards who are probably going to be a little disappointed, but it is, you know, public voting. That's how it is. Okay. So, I do think... Hold on, let me look at the tooltip for this. Okay. Yeah, so the way they've phrased their best character design award is a little strange, I think. Because technically it feels like the award should be best character designer. Because the way they've got this is it's like they've got the name of the character designer, they've got the studio, but then they also have the like poster thumbnail of the anime that they were associated with. So it's a little weird, but I will break this down for chat. So the nominees are, you've got Akira Matsushima from UFO Table for Demon Slayer. Kazuaki Shimada with Wit Studios and Cloverworks for Spy Family. Masanori Shino at David Production for JoJo Part 6. Atsuko Nozaki at Wit Studio for Ranking of Kings. Kazumasa Ishida at Cloverworks for... Oh, that's my Dress Up Darling, sorry. The text is a little small. And then Yo-Yo Shinari at Trigger for Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
I do think actually Edge Runner is going to win this one.
That had some very distinct character design, yes.
Yes.
But I want to say, this is a motherfucker of a category, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I just listed 6 series with very distinct visual styles on their characters and animation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could totally see Edge Runners taking this one because that show is really made by its specific character designs. Obviously, we talked about Rebecca earlier, but David has a very unique silhouette. You know, Lucy's got a very specific look. There's a lot of the great trigger stylization, you know, with characters like Main and his constant size changing. Not as bad as Gamagori from Kill la Kill, but, you know, I swear to God, Main is different heights and different shots, because that's just how Trigger works. But also, obviously, there's a JoJo series on here, and what is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure if not character designs and arts?
Well, see, this is the thing that like always gets me about this. Is like I think Cyberpunk has a edge over this because Cyberpunk Edge Runners, while it is based off the Cyberpunk franchise, are all original characters.
It's true. Several of those series that were listed in there are adaptations of a manga or light novel that had a pre-existing art style.
Yes. Like I think
So,
that's
well-
like for me that is often like the big designer standard. It's like those Cyberpunk Edge Runners character designs are something that someone sat and built from the ground up. Well, almost from the ground up. They had a foundation in the cosmetics, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the outfits in Edge Runners you actually can't find in Cyberpunk. So I'm getting crushed.
He's getting crushed. He's getting tank busted. But yeah, no. The CDPR has been on record like they piped their entire backlog of like all their concept art and their dev team art into Trigger to do character designs, and they had like inputs and design notes for characters for story reasons. But yeah, that was all like original creation. And yes, for the most part, I do think most of the fashion that the characters are displaying in that series are not modeled in the game. Obviously, David's jacket is, but that's about it.
Well, that was also post-anime. That's, you know.
True. No, they were able to design that to fit in with the tie-in, you know. But yeah, like most of the other outfits, you can't really replicate, and even other character design notes like Cyberware. Faraday has a very distinct look that you can't replicate in game with his extra eyes, shit like that.
Oh.
This way.
But okay. Best animation. The just overall animated the best. nominees. Akebi Sailor Uniform by Cloverworks.
Oh, it's
Cyberpunk Edge Runners by Trader. What's up?
Oh, give me a couple times so I can make some mentions because I have watched Akebi Sailor Uniform and it is a fucking beautiful anime. Like, they do a lot with lights and motion. It's very stunning. Like,
After Edge Runners, there's Ranking of Kings Core 2 with Studio.
this
Then-
one, please get off of me.
Yep. Nope. You're being sleepered right now.
Ranking of Kings is really a sleeper hit in its animation department because it has a very simple art style, but they use it to create effects, and you can just see those buttery smooth frames in it. Ranking of Kings, I definitely want people to go watch if they haven't because it is a delight on several levels, not just for its animation, but for also its story and characters in general.
Yeah, it's definitely got quite a few nominations in the categories. And then, you could probably expect these last couple here by now. Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2. God, fuck. They couldn't even come up with a cool subtitle. It's just so hard to say. The second part of the last bit of Attack on Titan by Studio Mappa. Parts of Attack on Titan, I think, have always been known for very striking, well animations and visuals. Usually the gross parts. And obviously, it has to be on here. Demon Slayer by UFO Table is on this list as well, just because it's Ufotable, and it is just
Listen,
poetry in motion.
Listen, there are several scenes from the entertainment arc that I just rewatch because I'm just all like, this is the good shit.
Yeah, it's just all up there. And then, actually, interestingly enough, Spy Family by Wit Studio and Cloverworks is our 6th nominee for Best Animation.
Where's this other fucking... Oh, wait. There it is.
And I find that kind of interesting because I didn't really hear anybody talking about Spy Family, like, in that sense. Like, it was, you know, the most beautifulest to watch. Mostly it's talking about, you know, the character designs are obviously many, you know, I feel like this year especially, but it's been common for the past couple of years, but I feel like there's a lot of what people call the waifu of the week kind of a thing. Like, not necessarily the week, but every, you know, part of the anime season, there'll be, like, a female character design who just grabs the internet, and you see them a lot.
Yeah.
But also, you know, there's lots of, you know, memes and comfortable vibes. I don't know if anybody really was saying that Spy Family looked really good, but I've seen some, you know, shots from the show. It seems fine. So we'll see if it wins or not. I mean, I'm pulling for Edge Runners because Ufotable's really good. I haven't specifically watched, you know, Demon Slayer. It's still sitting in my Netflix queue forever, probably. I'll get there. I got a lot of stuff in that queue. And I know that Ufotable is very, very good, but obviously having seen Edge Runners, like I said, I've heard people make the argument that it might be one of Trigger's best-looking works yet, and being Netflix exclusive, Trigger got to do that thing, whatever the reverse of pulling a punch is. They got to do extra punches in hyperspeed time, like, that shot in the final episode when, you know, David finally goes ultra super Sun Deviston and, like, is transversing in 6 different directions at once. It's just, it's mind-blowing and, you know, visceral while also being really trippy. It's just good. It looks good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Best animation. Next is best new series. So that is, you know, whatever is, you know, brand new to the scene. This is another slob. Even without counting for fall, this is another slobberknocker of a category. So at the top, we've got Call of the Night by Linden Films, Inc. Licorice Recoil, A1 Pictures. Spy Family with Studio Cloverworks, as you would expect. Cyberpunk Edge Runners also on there. My Dress of Darling. And rounding us out, your boy Con Ming.
Your boy Kong Min, I heard, got a lot of praise. Unfortunately, I have not watched it because it was on High Dive, and I'm still working through High Dive. But High Dive is a bitch that it doesn't want to work half the fucking time. So I'm having problems with it. But I've heard a lot of things about your boy Kong Ming, so I am excited to get to it. Personally, on a personal level, I want My Dress Up Darling to win. Because I have been following that series a long time, and I really like the aesthetic and the drama and the romance that has going on through it. And like you're talking about, you know, waifu of waifu of the week or waifu of the season. Marin was definitely that during the winter season when My Dress Up Darling came out.
Yeah, no.
But like I said, I do think that Cyberpunk also has a good chance of doing it, but so does Lico Rico.
Yeah, like I said, the only one of these that I don't immediately recognize is Call of the Night.
Call of the Night is more recent. It's made by the same person who did I can't remember the fucking name of the thing, but it's like Dangashi Kashi or something. Basically, it's a story about a boy who's running a candy shop. Has a fairly unique character design element to it, but it's interesting. It's this modern vampire romance story that has a lot of humorous moments in it. It's pretty good. I read the manga. I have not got to the anime yet. Wait, I gotta start the Cable Ferry.
But yeah, I think all of these are like big name nominees. You know, it's obviously, if you're making an awards show, you want to try and put all your headliners in there, but sometimes it just happens that, you know, you have some softballs. This is no softballs. Like, I would not be shocked if any one of these won, and I don't think I would be, like, upset. I have heard of all of these, and, you know, I don't think there's anything crazy about it. Next, then, is going to be Best Continuing Series. So this is, you know, all your series that are ongoing, have had previous seasons, etc. So, Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2 here. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Which, that, by the way, I can tell you guys right at the top, that's my personal pick. It took them forever to come out, and I don't know what weird sorcery David Production and Netflix were doing behind the scenes to make it come out in such a weird order. But so far up to this point of the parts that are animated, because people will fucking sass me about Part 7, and I'm like, it's not real yet. It's a manga. I don't want to go buy trades right now. Part 6 is my favorite part, and it's got some of my favorite characters, and Jolene is my favorite JoJo. At me, if you will. So I voted with that one. It's a really good one. But then we've got Made in Abyss, Golden City of the Scorching Sun.
I have not
Full title there.
Actually, I have not got to that one yet.
And again, as you might expect from seeing in other places, Entertainment District Arc of Demon Slayers on this list. We've also got Kaguya-sama Love is War, Ultra Romantic. I'm assuming that is a whichever core came out this year subtitle.
Yeah.
At the very least, I don't know which one that is sequentially, but it's a little more descriptive than Attack on Titan's work there.
Yes.
And then the big one, just One Piece. Which I feel like One Piece is the only anime that is still made like One Piece.
I don't
Or at
understand
least the
it.
only one that's
I
still
really don't.
notable. Are we constantly producing episodes of Boruto? I don't know anymore. But yeah, I kind of feel like One Piece is the 800-pound gorilla in this room.
Listen, it's been going on for over 10 years. It's
Yeah.
got such a massive following, I don't think...
You ready? Let's kick it.
Like, I mean, I don't know. It could be that, like, because of its size, you know, people think of it as the steady rock. They're complacent, but that's not usually how I read One Piece fans. They are not a silent mass of complacent people. They are here to yell at you about every single time a new One Piece thing happens. It is the greatest single thing ever. Oda is a golden god, etc., etc. So, yeah, no, that's, I mean, hey, shout out to them if it's kept their interest this long. It's probably a pretty good continuing series, but yeah, it's a big bruiser on the scene. Soz. Next is Best Opening Sequence, Best OP. So, we've got, oh gosh. Okay, I'm sorry, I recognize the title. Once again, this is that thing where they say the name of the opening song, and then they say the studio, but they use the fucking poster shots of the anime. I wish they would organize this a little differently. But, we've got, Chiki Chiki Ban Ban for your boy Kanming.
That one's actually kind of funny to watch, actually. I'm not going to lie. I have seen the opening. It's pretty sick.
Yeah. Naked Hero for Ranking of Kings.
That one's also very good. I cried at it once.
This Fire with the extra Fs for Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which you guys should know how much I like that one.
I think
That's-
it's pretty good, but like I don't think its beauty is in its simplicity. It doesn't do
Yeah,
a lot
it's not the best ever, but there's just something about the visuals in the song where I watched like almost all of that show all at once in the middle of the night. I watched the OP every time,
Yep.
which I don't usually do when I'm binging anime. Even if I really like the OP, I will usually like skip those extra couple of minutes to get to the new content. I watched this Fire every time, so like it's something. Mixed Nuts for Spy Family.
I don't actually remember this one that well, so forgive me. So it's probably not gonna be the winner.
The Rumbling for Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2.
I'm not a big Attack on Titan fan, so I just don't know this one in general.
I think I remember hearing some jokes about the name before, so it might, have some legs. Not sure. And then last one is Zankyo Sanka for Demon Slayer.
That one's alright. Honestly, this is one of the categories that I have issues with because everyone's talking about best OPs. I watch a lot of animes. I see a lot of OPs, and so there's definitely some that I'm like, wait a minute, why isn't X in this one? This one in specifically, the second opening to 86 that came out. It's very good. Like I had to show people where's this fucking battery, y'all? I had to show people it. It's a fucking. I think it's a cinematic masterpiece of war and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know. When did that actually come out?
oh no, it's fair because I'm pretty sure 86 has a nomination somewhere else in here.
It might, yeah. Like, I was a little shocked to see no mention to Stone Ocean, but I think that might be because technically the second OP, Heaven Falling Down, didn't happen until, the December.
Yeah.
So I think that's out of the cutoff they're aiming for. They're trying to avoid that recency, like I said. So hopefully we'll see that come back next year. But yeah, there is some awkward timing stuff. But I guess this is kind of what happens when you're trying to, like, boil down roughly a year's worth of content into, just 6 noms.
A lot of anime comes out.
Yes. And when you're doing categories like Best OP and Best ED, which is next, which I'll read in a second, that sometimes the quality of your OP and ED has nothing to do with your quality as an anime series. Now, usually I think most of these ones that are picked are still, like, from anime that are popularized and well-liked, right?
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily have to be it. There have been, very great OPs on very mid-seasons of anime. So, yeah, it's just, it happens sometimes. But yeah, so time for Best ED nominees. You've got Akuba no Ko from Attack on Titan. Koi no Yuke from My Dress Up Darling. My Heart Has Surrendered from Kaguya-sama Love is War. Comedy from Spy Family.
Let's see what's in here.
I'm giving the pauses so Lucky can intersperse if he wants to, but I feel like I'm giving the pauses at the award show for, like, the sizzle reel to roll.
I think it's good having that.
It works. Let's see, what was next? Sorry, this is all one word, so I'm trying to figure out how to say it best. Kosha Beri Biori for Komi Can't Communicate. All one word, no spaces. And then last one is Yofukashi no Uta from Call of the Night. So all over the place, got a wide variety there.
Honestly,
Any
I like
particular-
again. Oh wait, is the battery over fucking there? Son of a bitch. But unfortunately, none of these entries really ring a bell besides the My Dress Up Darling one. Oh, it is right here, motherfucker. So, and I'm pretty sure if I thought real hard, I could probably find one that I like better.
Yeah.
But I have no real say in this one. Nor which one actually might win either.
Yeah, it could be all over the place. So then the next one is Beast School. This is another one that's formatted a little weird. They have basically the nominees are the name of the composer, the studio, and then the anime slice. So we start at no name with a K in parentheses for Spy Family. Actually, let me check the tooltip on this. Yeah, so it's just for original music, whether it's good or can stand alone. So then you've got Genki Hikota
This way.
for your boy Kan Ming. Kevin Penkin for Made in Abyss. Akira Yamaoka for Cyberpunk Edge Runners. And I want to say, this is a weird one. There is a amount of original music for Edge Run. There are like interstitials and stuff like that. A lot of its soundtrack is taken from the game's soundtrack. So this is a weird one for me because all the moments that are memorable musically to me are the music that was already made for CP 2077.
Well, the composer the composer probably decided what tracks to use when as well.
True. And if that's being accounted into this, like the you know, if Akira Yamaoka-san is like was picking what of their pre-existing soundtrack went where, that's a big winner for me. There are so many people out there in the world who, you know, because of the way the game works, you'll just be minding your own business, and I Really Want to Stay at Your House will just play on a radio somewhere, and you just experience existential dread. It's just, you know, that one screenshot from Blade Runner. You just, like, you know, zone out. It's bad.
It's bad.
I felt it myself. I've been trying to mind my own business in Japantown or Watson, and then just the radio, and I'm just like, ooh, orders be hitting different.
Not far now.
And so we have, next we have Hideyuki Sawano and Kota Yamamoto for Attack on Titan.
Yep. Yeah, boy.
And Yuki Kajira and Go Shina on Demon Slayer.
No, they did some good stuff. Again, I am going to be slightly upset that 86 did not get another one. But maybe it's because, already Sawano is on Attack on Titan. Maybe they didn't want to double dip. I'm not sure.
Yeah. I don't know how they pick that, because obviously Sawano's pretty prolific.
Yes.
Yuki Kajira does a wide variety of works as well. Has worked on several Fate properties that were not associated with Ufotable. So there's some stuff out there. I don't know how they decide to narrow it down, you know. I suspect that they do probably try and make it so that Sawano is not competing with Sawano, because that would be very awkward and slightly unfair to other people.
Yes.
So Sawano may be good enough to possibly book two nominees, but, you know, we should really just pick whichever one we like best.
And like I said, Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan is madly popular.
Yes. No, it's freakishly popular, and quite frankly, I feel like that's got to be one of those fandoms that might have a slight, to go off topic a little here, might have a little bit of a atomic meltdown when that anime actually ends, based on how the manga ended. Because that has happened a couple of times. I feel like there was a great, you know, like, speaking of actually some other, you know, big ongoing shows, I think, like, both Naruto and Bleach had a little bit of, like, a mass freak out right at the end. Bleach, obviously, because it was kind of abruptly ended, with a lot of stuff getting tied up very rapidly, which was shipping related, and kind of similar for Naruto, though Naruto also had plot stuff, you know, in that Sasuke is not the Dai. Some people were confused and upset by this, so, like, I don't know. We'll see how that shakes out, but yeah, people are really into Attack on Titan. Next category is Best Film, so that's, you know, non-episodic, singularized production, whether it was in theaters or on DVD or released online. So your nominees are Bubble by Wit Studio.
I watched that one. I liked it. It's almost an alternative Little Mermaid story.
Okay, that's cute.
Yeah. Except it's fucking, it has future parkour in it.
I do like future parkour.
I'll shoot you a trailer later.
Okay. Next nominee is Inu Oh by Science Saru.
Science Saru usually does pretty good work, but I have not seen this one.
Yes. The one that might win, because there's another major franchise film that was very popular right after it, so we'll see how that works out. But next nominee is One Piece film Red, which was fucking a thing. It was a thing in the States even, like, so that's a big one up there, obviously. But the nominee after that is Dragon Ball Super Superhero, so
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be one of those two.
Yeah, I haven't actually sat down to watch Superhero yet. I'm kind of a, mid-level Dragon Ball enjoyer. Thanks mostly to Team 4-Star. But also, they made some good Dragon Ball video games over the years. And I've watched all of DBZ Kai. So, like, I've seen them try and clean up some of the filler. But by all accounts, Superhero is also, like, really good doing, like, actually, unique and good things and handling characters who are not the best handled by Akira Toriyama himself. So, got some extra adult Gohan, got some extra Piccolo in there, which, very popular with the fans. So that I feel like you said, that's going to be the slug out between those two. But to wrap up, there are still 2 more nominees. There's also Jujutsu Kaisen 0 by Studio Mappa.
I actually haven't heard much about that one, honestly. I haven't watched it myself.
Yeah. And then our last one is The Deer King by Production IG.
I never heard of this one, honestly.
Yeah, no, haven't heard of either. But IG does good work, so must be doing something right to get nominated. Film. So the next is Best Anime Song. Now, what's our category here? Recognizes vocalist, instrumentalist, soloist, duo, group, or collaborative recording played at any point during the anime series. So this is basically opening, ending, or insert song.
Did this girl just make a How Moving Castle reference? I can't tell because I'm like, everything's fucking exploding right now.
It does that. There's a lot of reference. Like, the dialogue in this game is very good. It's subtle, but it's very good. There's lots of stuff going on. Anyway. Your nominees include, once again, Chiki Chiki Bon Bon from your boy Konming. My Nonfiction from Kaguya-sama Love is War. I don't know if that was an OP or a insert song because it wasn't the ED. We mentioned
No,
earlier.
that's the you might not have seen it, but it Kaguya-sama always has like a unique ending in all of them, and in this one it was the rap battle. It was the rap battle. That had the very good animation with it.
All right, solid. The Rumbling from Attack on Titan. Comedy from Spy Family. This image up bigger. Yeah, okay, so trying to remember the exact name, and all these images are so tiny. Nominee number 5 is Shall We Dance from Cloverworks Shadow's House. House.
I would like Shall We Dance.
And New Genesis Uta from One Piece Film Red from One Piece Film Red. That was the original song and the music. So it's gonna be another punch up. It always happens. There's always somebody. I'm a little sad that, again, talking about song memes that stick with you forever, that I Want to Stay at Your House isn't mentioned there because it was used to great effect in Cyberpunk Edgerunners. But as I did bring up earlier, it was already a pre-existing part of the game soundtrack. So it was just one of those moments where I'm sure the audio team for Edgerunners was like, okay, what music do we have access to? What's this log? Oh, damn, there's some real good shit in here. Okay. So next we have Best Director. So director of the anime production. You've got, I think are any of these new? No, all of these series didn't mention before, so we can pick the pace up on this a little probably. You've got Haruo Sotozaki for Demon Slayer, Kazuhiro Furuhashi for Spy Family, Yosuke Hata for Ranking of Kings, Hiroyuki Imaishi for Cyberpunk Edgerunners, Shingo Adachi for Licorice Recoil. Been a while since we had them mentioned in the nominees there. And then Yuichiro Hayashi for Attack on Titan. So just, whichever one of these series you thought had the best overall high-level direction and creative something. I have absolutely no idea which one will win in this case.
I don't, but I'm going to hope for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, I also hope for Cyberpunk to be recognized. That one does have a very distinct form of direction. Trigger has a very distinct style that a lot of their directors work on, but I think that all 6 of these shows have, you know, directorial vision and chutzpah. Otherwise, they would not be on this list. So that's another one of them rough picks.
I'm in a hedge mage. I hate it.
Yeah.
Hear that?
All right, now we get to some of the spicy ones.
Ooh, spicy.
Best main character. They have, by the way, switched this up a little. There's no best antagonist or best villain anymore, by the way.
I am
We got rid of that one after some nonsense in previous years.
I don't know. I like nonsense.
Yeah, I think I do too. It's just I can kind of understand why anime is a series sometimes that kind of like will openly stray into villain protagonist territory or hero antagonists kind of a thing. You know, we have lots of shows about bad guys and good guys, and sometimes it can be hard on like a critical level to pick that apart. They don't even call it like best hero or best protagonist. They're just best main character, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But your nominees for best main character are Boji from Ranking of Kings,
Mm-hmm.
David Martinez from Cyberpunk Edge Runners,
We should do
Lloyd Forger from Spy Family,
never.
Chisato Nishikigi from Licorice Recoil, Aaron Yeager from Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2.
You're getting used to saying it
And-
now.
You know, I got a lot of practice. There's a lot of awards, and guess what? Attack on Titan comes out a lot. And last nominee is Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling.
So I would like Marin-chan to win this one just because I'm all about that kind of life. But Chisato and David also I think have a pretty solid chance of pulling it too.
Yeah. There's some very strong characters all around there. I kind of hope Aaron Yeager doesn't win.
Yeah, no, out of all of them, I think that's the only one I don't want them to win.
I don't usually feel that way about anime, but it's okay. I understand. People have been super hyped about Attack on Titan near me enough to understand the vibes, and I'm kind of like, I don't think that would fit so good. Obviously, after main comes best supporting character. So just general supporting character blobs. This one I think is a little interesting. You'll notice what I mean when I get to the second half of this. The front half, though, you've got Ai Hayasaka from Kaguya-sama Love is War.
She is a gremlin.
Kage from Ranking of Kings. Tengen Uzui from Demon Slayer. Anya Forger from Spy Family. And then they do a shim sham here. They put Rebecca from Cyberpunk Edge Runners in the middle, and then the sixth nominee is your Forger from Spy Family. So Spy Family gets two Namos there, but it is a show with 3 major characters. I can see all 3 of them on the cover there, so it's kind of fair sometimes.
Sometimes.
Obviously, you should understand. Is my pinned tweet still? Hold on. No, okay. That's my pinned tweet is the summary of Fate's Day Night now. For a while, my pinned tweet was "We stand Rebecca at this house." That was my pinned tweet for a long time. So obviously, you guys know where I'm coming from, but
Thanks, Jim.
Yor was very popular on the internet for a long time. I mean, Rebecca was too, and still is. They both show up a lot, you know. So I don't know, but
They're coming out with a tiny Rebecca plush. I'm like, I might need this.
yeah, no, like
I'd kiss you.
hell, that was a major thing for us, right? We were like, when the show came out, a lot of people, including ourselves, were like, no Becca merch.
And, they literally listened. We were like, all right, we got this.
We figured it out, guys. You want it, you know. So like, yeah, this is gonna be a rough and tumble. Obviously, I think a lot of these characters are popular for a reason, and that back 3 especially, I've had some staying power in the internet ethos. So we'll see how that one shakes out.
And we just in the
We also have a new category, I think, for this year, which is just in general. I think they're trying to like amalgamate a lot of their other, weird anime categories, but we've got must protect at all costs character.
I love gremlin shit like this.
The phrase cinnamon roll is used in the tooltip. So that's what we're dealing with here, okay? Like, Crunchyroll's been trying to find this one for a while. We've had, best boy and best girl categories in previous years, shit like that. Honestly, must protect is probably their best attempt so far.
Yeah.
So your nominees in this category are Anya Forger from Spy Family, Kage from Ranking of Kings, Marin Kitagawa from My Dress Up Darling,
Propane tank.
Boji from Ranking of Kings. So Ranking of Kings gets 2 nommos in this category.
What's going on?
Kotaro Sato from what's this series? It's got a fucking cat.
Katara Lives Alone.
Ah, yes, thank you. It is indeed that Katara Lives Alone. Yeah.
That's a Netflix only one, by the way.
Okay. And then Shoko Komi from Komi Can't Communicate.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a category.
Yeah. When it comes to like best protect, I'm definitely on the I'm definitely of the opinion of it's gonna be Komi or Bochi. They have big this precious bean energy. Anya doesn't necessarily have that. Anya could be a gremlin. She has that mean face for a reason, you know?
Yes.
Kotaro is also probably a high category, but I don't know if as many people watched Kotaro Lives Alone. Like I said, it's a Netflix one, and
Yeah.
it's it's a thing. The premise of Kotaro Lives Alone is basically a elementary school kid is basically lives alone, and a bunch of adults are just all like, what is going on here? What is this? And it's kind of slice of life. Oh, oops. Okay, everyone, calm down. What the fuck? Hang on, I'm trying to explain anime right here.
Everybody be cool.
But it's like I said, it will tug at your heartstrings, especially once you start understanding what Kotaro's deal is.
Yeah.
So I can understand why it being there, but like,
You don't know if it's gonna have the power to go over the top.
yeah, no. Komi and Bochi are both just characters that are almost impossible to hate, I would say.
Yeah.
Depending on your taste, some people might find a character like Marin Kitagawa annoying or too over the top in her accents and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's a bold call to have she's nominated under best main character and then also must protect. That's an interesting take,
Yeah.
but not necessarily incorrect.
No.
You got your noms.
Now, Kitagawa's a great character, and I love her to death. But like I said, it's probably going to be Komi. Komi Can't Communicate has had a small cult following for like the longest times. It was one of the big 3 that people were screaming for the anime adaptation, along with
Mind if I do?
Yeah.
Don't Bully Me Nagatoro and what's the other one? I can't remember it.
Keep your distance.
They're all something that got like anime adaptations like real close together. Surprisingly, I can't remember
Yeah.
what it is though.
And it, as you can tell from that list, like he's trying to build, like even before it got the anime adaptation, Komi was very famous for like screenshots, reaction images, shit like that.
Yeah.
Like it had a very distinct element to it. So yeah, there's definitely some stuff there. Are y'all, Chad? Are you ready for another category that's gonna be fucking murder? It's gonna be hell. It's best action. So your nominees in best action are Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2, Demon Slayer Entertainment District Arc, Licorice Recoil, Cyberpunk Edgerunners, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, and Spy Family. So, damn. Good luck sorting that one out, guys. I think I edged myself. Funny. I picked Edgerunners over the top, but having fully watched that and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that was a hard pick for me.
Mhm.
Both of them are done very well and obviously have, as you can expect from both the Cyberpunk show and the show with the Punch Ghosts, they have very unique action scenes that take advantage of their internal setting stuff. I'm going to assume that probably these other shows that are on here do as well. You know, they're all doing action in their own unique ways. And obviously, again, I haven't actually sat down and watched Demon Slayer yet, but I have seen clips, and I understand how Ufotable works. The action in that show is good. I know this. I don't have to have, studied it front to back to get it.
Hey, a lucky chopper.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people think of Spy Family as a comedy, but...
I mean, it can have good action moments.
Yeah.
Like,
I think I even remember seeing some people praise some episodes for having really good action animation kind of out of the blue, right?
right.
Because you don't think of it first and foremost as a series with action, but the art team doesn't slack when it comes to action. Maybe that means that maybe they shouldn't, take it to the finish and win, but it's all up there, right?
Right.
And again, obviously, Chad, if you're wondering, we said this earlier, but we've been slugging away at this for a little bit. The Crunchyroll Anime Awards are doing a very smart thing, and they are avoiding a lot of stuff that came out in the most recent anime season in the fall. That have, all that shit that is just finished airing, because that would be, on the top of everybody's minds.
Bocchi the Rock would be in fucking everything right about now.
Yeah, I think the ones that jump to mind, just in terms of raw internet memes, there would be so many Bocchi and so many G-Witch noms. Because, that... I feel like every single week Witch from Mercury came out, there was, new meme, who dis? Yeah. And obviously, when talking about sheer memetics, it took a little bit to get going, but I regularly see Bocchi-related memes now.
I fucking told everyone. No one believed me.
They hated him because he spoke the truth.
They did.
No, I understand, but now I see, the shot of her, sketching out on the ground, all the time as a reaction gif. Yeah.
No, that one's probably gonna, for sure. I don't know if it'll win Anime of the Year, because, like I said, we got the full year of it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna win Best Original Music and probably Best Director. Because they went places with that.
I mean, at the very least, in the category we're talking in, it probably won't show up in Best Action.
No, it will not.
And we'll see how that works out for future. I do believe that the next block of Attack on Titan will be, in spring, so we'll see. But G-Witch should probably be in there. They have some of the best modern mech choreo I have seen.
No,
in a
it gets
long
Best
time.
Action because of Choo Choo Punch. That's all it needs.
I mean, that's also true. That is a beautifully animated punch. That some artists did some fucking mocap motion study shit. That punch has follow through. That person reacts like what happens when you actually get your lights punched out, which is just you fall on the floor. You don't fly back 4 feet. You just get laid the fuck out. No, it's just But also I feel the memes about Ariel fucking summoning 40 bit staves to literally tear enemy robots limb from limb is what happened? What? It's beautiful. It's great work. Anyway, that's next year's awards. But yeah, so I'm personally pulling for Edge Runners or Stone Ocean, but I genuinely think this could be anybody. I assume that Attack on Titan has to have good action, otherwise why the fuck are you watching this show? Ah, yes, here it is. So next category is Best Drama. Mastery of building and relieving tension, edge of your seats, feeling your feelings, invest deeply, etc., etc. So,
Floor levels.
Nominee number 1, as you brought up earlier, is 86 Part 2.
Yep.
By A1 Pictures. You've also got Cyberpunk Edge Runners on here. Yes, big floor levels. Katara Lives Alone is also on this list.
Yep.
Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2. Another one of our first time showing up on the noms. You've also got Dance Dance Dancer by Studio Mappa.
I've not watched that one. So no idea.
Don't remember hearing too much about this, but it is about dancing, so I assume there would be drama. And then the last nominee is Made in Abyss, Golden City of the Scorching Sun.
Yeah, I can see drama in that one. It's Made in Abyss is one of those animes that you think is nice and lovely, but then turns out to be actually super fucked up. And
Yes.
that has actually turned a lot of people off of it, surprisingly. Well, not surprisingly,
Oh,
actually.
yeah, I understand that completely. But
Yeah.
no, when their best drama is maybe a little bit of an oversimplification, but again, love these tooltips. Crunchyroll Anime Awards, great work here. Talking about, what they mean by best drama is that building tension, relieving tension, talking about putting fans on the edge of their seats, literally using the phrase feeling all their feelings, shit like that, right? Like, yeah, no. I assume all of these are pretty good. Obviously, Edge Runners gave me the most floor levels, but pretty sure there's lots of floor levels to go around, y'all. Floor status, basement.
Yeah. Honestly, I think 86 might trump Cyberpunk in this regard, because 86 is basically someone took the fanatic racism from World War II and then applied it to future mech combat, and basically enslaved soldiers.
Yeah, 86 is on my. You've talked a lot about it. It's on my eventual list somewhere.
Yeah.
Eventually.
And I don't know if it's necessarily fair to 80. I know 86 Part 2 is on there because that's what came out, but as a whole, just both those parts put together is a fucking ride that I cannot.
I mean, Stone Ocean is on this list, and keep in mind that also came out over the course of about a year. So
True.
there's some spread out there. So next category is Best Fantasy. In this case, talking about fantasy is about imagination, creativity, a little bit of magic, craft deep original universes, lots of detail, etc., etc. So obviously, meant to be fantastical and so on, but also capturing, that extra thing you mean by fantasy. There's some extra world building and whimsy, extra juice. So, your nominees for Best Fantasy are Demon Slayer Entertainment District Arc, Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation Season 1 Part 2. My god, the subtitles. Ranking of Kings Core 2, which I assume is that's got to be Crunchyroll's informal title there.
Yeah.
Because it's not really complex. Made in Abyss Golden City Scorching Sun. Overlord 4 by Studio Madhouse. And The Case Study of Vanitas, Core 2 by Studio Bones. I do believe I did hear some people talking about Case Study of Vanitas in the past.
That'd be me, because I love that series. I can't wait for another
so.
season, and that's the one I want to win. Because I very much love the setting. I very much love the setting of A Case Study of Vanitas. It's basically magic steampunk, French vampire story. There's a lot of adjectives in there, but they make it work. And I've discovered I really do I really love the what do I want to call it? As Jay and Silent Bob are called, the heterosexual life partner dynamic.
Yeah.
Which is definitely in that. So yeah, no, that's my personal pick for Best Fantasy. Like I said, because I think
People in chat repping Mushoku Tensei.
Yeah, well, I can see that they put a lot. Mushoku Tensei is one of the I don't want to say it's the OG isekai stories, but it's one of the earliest popular ones. So it has quite a bit of well, I say OG isekai as in I'm talking about when the fucking isekai fucking revolution happened in the early 2010s. But
in the turn.
Yeah, in the turn. But they've done a lot of work with it, with the animation and whatnot. Yo, when am I gonna get my fucking adaptation of Orc Heroica, written by the same author? It's very good. Actually, I gotta check to see if the next volume's out. I think it is.
And then the next category, the best romance. This is another category where, like, I haven't actually sat down and watched any of these shows, but I'm like, oh boy, this is collar tug. Oh boy, this is gonna be a thing. So your nominees are Call of the Night by Linden Films Inc.
Mhm.
Comey Can't Communicate, specifically called it the second series for some reason here, but yeah. My Dress Up Darling by Cloverworks. Kaguya-sama Love is War Ultra Romantic by A1 Pictures. And then a couple of first-time show-ups on their nominees. You've got Love After World Domination by Project Number 98.
That one's very funny. I'm gonna say I don't know if they'll win best romance, but I watched it. I had a good time.
And the last nominee is Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie by Kodansha.
Yes, that one is diabetes. So those latter
Yeah,
two are interesting because if I remember unlike the other recommend, those other twos, all the characters are basically the main couple are already in a relationship and is them just exploring the relationship, which I think hits a little bit differently than characters trying to get into a relationship or discovering their feelings for another. Like Love is War is literally about two people who can't admit their feelings together, so they're trying to come up with weird ass fucking plans to do it. Though I will say, though, at the end of this one, some shit fucking happens, and that no longer applies. And that was a very big moment that was trending for quite a bit, I will say. So, if nothing else but for that, Love is War might win.
True. And I will say that, like, again, Crunchyroll has good tooltips. They explain their awards. They're talking about, this is about, thawing hearts, captivating us in stories of these relationships, hopeful messages, and making you believe in the power of love. Well, that works for an established relationship too. So, they're whoever's writing their fucking copy on this is really good at their job and explaining like how these awards are open ended. But yeah, that's some interesting stuff in there. All right. So we have only two left, and this is Best Performance Japanese and Best Performance English.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately, this is another one of those ones where they drop the name in the studio and the anime, but they also don't say the characters off the top. Let me see. If I click them, does it say? Okay. All right. So you got to give me an extra second to break this one down here. So, first nominee is in Best Performance Japanese, Atsumi Tanizaki for Anya Forger and Spy Family.
Mm-hmm.
We then have Faru's Eye for Jolene Cujo in Stone Ocean.
Yeah.
That's my pick right there.
I'm gonna pick her just because I like Pharaoh's Eye.
Well, yeah, she's also great in general, but her performance as Jolene, it's good. You've also got Natsuki Hane for Tanjiro Kamedo and Demon Slayer. My brain broke for a second there. Sorry, it's because I'm reading and then I have to like translate to what poster image is this? It's Demon Slayer. You've seen it like 5 times tonight. Actually, no, way more than that, like a dozen times tonight. Come on, focus.
Where is...
Next nominee is Chika Anzai for Chisato Nishikigi, Licorice Recoil.
Mm-hmm. Don't I have the fucking one that crouches and makes me immune to fucking friendly fire? Where the fuck is it?
Where did it go? Did you accidentally burn it off?
No, I don't think I can burn it off. I don't think I can remember the fucking name of it, which is the problem. Oh wait, here it is, down in front. There we go.
There you go. It's true. Sometimes there's weird names and stuff. And what you have missed is most of the anime awards. We've been talking about the nominees. Okay. Next is Misaki Kuno for. This is a very unfortunate character name, Japan, for Faputa and Irumi from Maiden Abyss. Don't know how that got by somebody. That spelling, anyway. And Yuki Kaji for Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan Final Season Part 2.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I'm pulling for iPhotos because she's really good in what she does. But, there's some choices there. And then most of these, I'm not super familiar with the works, but I recognize a lot of the names from these performances for the English, so we'll read them out
Oh,
as
Jesus.
usual.
I gotta scroll to see all my corruption cards. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Goodbye, world.
He's gonna die. Hello, darkness, my old friend. This game makes you feel that sometimes. That and yesterday when we did like 30 minutes of trying to get Water Horse and just I was constantly being yeeted into the ocean. After getting blown up normally. Leviathan doesn't fuck around, guys.
He does not.
Alright, so we've got
Snuggle up to them,
Amanda
then.
Lee, also
Neat.
abbreviated Amelie. Okay, I guess we got professional names here for the English dub version of Marin Kitagawa.
Yep.
Natalie Van Sistine for Your Forger, English, obviously, in Spy Family. Zach Aguilar for the English David Martinez, Cyberpunk Edge Runners. It's a pretty good one. Jeremy Lee for the English version of Kotaro Sato from Kotaro Lives Alone. Jeremy does good work.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's your boy, Sungwon Cho, aka ProZD, for the English version of Kage from Ranking of Kings.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Pro ZD because I love his voice.
He's a pretty good guy, yeah.
Yeah. Someone was talking about like people doing accents. I'm just like, no, I just like Pro ZD's voice. His normal voice is good, and like when his Radisker voice is good, and it's like, no, I
Yeah.
like it. You know what? I think I'm gonna stop doing melee. Actually, hang on, let me just leave this game. I'll just start over right here.
He's gonna switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last is Zeno Robinson as Gamma 2 from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Again, haven't watched that one myself, but most of the dub crew for all of the Dragon Ball stuff is either people who've been doing this for a long time or obviously people that the casting directors think can compete with those guys. So I'm sure it's a very good performance.
I know. You couldn't dream of going without me.
Oh, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? It has 4 arms. You little shits. Give me help.
But yeah, overall, I think it's... By the way, I also want to say, just for one of those 6 degrees things, there's something very funny about putting Cyberpunk Edgerunners Zach Aguilar's performance on this list, and then also in a separate category putting Jeremy Lee, because she's female V.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one of those things that's like, that's funny.
But the delivery method was flawed. We need to deliver it in concentrated doses with greater accuracy.
And let's see, there are 2 more categories, but I don't know. Do we know the nominees for that? That's their special category. Yeah, you can't click on those. They have special categories that will be determined by an industry panel or a special guest. So there's going to be a special achievement award and presenter's choice awards at the actual show in March. But there you go. That's the anime awards.
Yay.
Overall, I feel like Crunchyroll has done a lot of work refining down their categories and their show over the years. And I don't actually know much about the award show itself. They usually like stream it on the middle of the day on a weekday when I got shit to do. So we'll see how that part goes. But overall, I think they've done a good job over the years of like trying to refine down their categories to be, you know, appropriate, be diverse, but also to get out of being bogged down in some of the nonsense that sometimes happens with their categories. I know, Lucky, you said earlier you like the nonsense, but I'm sure when you're trying to make an award show, you don't necessarily want to cause an internet clusterfuck.
That curveball.
At least not all the time. And I also think that they've done a lot with, like I said, eliminating fall from the contention this year. Presumably the stuff from, you know, that ended like right away in as we got to 2023 will be included in next year's show at the start, and they'll skip fall again. Hopefully they keep consistent. If they double up, we're going to have a hell of a time. But if they can keep that going forward, that does kind of, keep stuff clean and prevent issues of recency bias. I know that phrase was used to death when talking about God of War Ragnarok. But Elden Ring also won a shitload of awards, and that wasn't recent at all, so sometimes it's just like that.
Ah, it's trying to eat me!
He's trying to get it.
It just ate me, and it's running away! So I'm just dead. Holy shit.
Just wait for it on the playback.
Yeah, apparently if Hat grabs you, he can just stuff you in a fucking sack and run off with you. Okay.
Interesting.
Well, the bots have no idea what to do because so I guess I have to take over someone, so I'll take over Mom.
There it is, okay. My stream preview is way behind. Yep. Yeah, you just got 8. Wild.
Well, I guess that's why we have stun guns.
Yeah, but how often does that one come up?
Not often.
I feel like in terms of, like, gear and gadgets, like,
I think
obviously you probably want to be carrying the first aid kit because that's the best one, but you want to have something in your medical slot, and obviously there's a lot of grenades, but it's almost always toolkit or leave a space free for duffel bags. Like, occasionally some specific acts, I feel like the razor wire or bear traps are good.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, it's like, well, I want a toolkit because I want to be able to either disarm this door without starting a horde, or I want to open this door that's locked so I can get more shit. Or, like I said, you just use a duffel bag. We carried a lot of defibs last night when there were 3 of us actually playing. I don't think I used the defib once. Because I think that's only when you go down.
Okay, and it put me back into Holly. That's good.
Sure. Solid. But we have been going for about an hour and a half, so let me see.
Where are we going? This way?
No, I got a couple of things to mention, so I'm gonna step away for a sec. I'll pause the audio and be right back. I will leave you guys to Lucky getting et.
Well, I'm gonna go step away too real quick, so I'm gonna have these bots protect me.
Protect me, bots.
Protect me, bots. I'll be right back.
Doesn't being called Mom bother you?
Why should it? My son called me it for the last 20 years. And I loved hearing him say it every day. Maybe it's all I have left of him now. But it's a comfort, and that's a rare and precious thing these days.
Hello, chat. I am back. How are you, chat?
All right, sorry about that, everyone. I'm back. Had to go.
He's back.
Had to go put the soup in containers so it can be readily reheated and eaten without fuss.
Yep.
Like he is. I'm trying to eat better and avoid spending money on expensive takeout or restaurants or fast food. So that
Give me a good vibe.
yeah. So even if this soup I made isn't the healthiest, I made it myself and did not have to pay like $10 and assorted fees. So I'm for it.
Yep, solid. All right, I got a couple of things
Yeah.
to wrap up for us. So I'm also skimming through the news. Just saw something very interesting. Pre-orders on Skull and Bones have been refunded. It's no longer on sale in the PS Store. That's interesting.
What?
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, Skull and Bones is actually really interesting. So Ubisoft announced recently they canceled, like, what was it, 3 unannounced games?
Mm-hmm.
Because some of their games haven't been performing very well recently. Mario plus Rabbids 2 was instanced there, but even though that game is a game that people like generally, it seems like it wasn't making a lot of big sales numbers. So they've decided to cancel some unannounced projects, but are insisting that Skull and Bones is actually coming out. It's just been delayed again. And if you guys don't know, actually, I heard the reason for this. The reason why they are insistent on Skull and Bones coming out, despite the fact that that game has been rebuilt from the ground up several times, and it doesn't seem like it really should come out. So that was built in part by cooperation with Ubisoft Studios in Singapore. That game is partially funded by government grants from the Singapore government, which means they are on the hook for it to come out. Otherwise, the government will want their money back.
Ooh,
This is why you got to watch out for government grants.
That's not good because if I remember correctly, Ubisoft has been trying to fight off acquisitions and mergers for a while.
Yes, they are in a constant state of trying to avoid a hostile takeover in France, where they are based. So, yeah, if they did actually have to renege on a government contract and probably pay back some of that government money, that would not look great or go over great financially. And this is how government grant stuff works. It's like student loans, basically. You take money from the government, they will remember this. They write it down in a big book, and they won't ever let you forget it. So, Ubisoft is under contract to have Skull and Bones come out, which is why they keep insisting it will come out, and we'll see how it actually turns out. But yeah, so apparently let me actually read this article by PlayStation Lifestyle and see if there's any further news.
I don't usually like to attract attention.
So there's no email. It just seems like some people noticed on Reddit that if you pre-ordered the deluxe edition, you have been refunded from PlayStation. That says a lot. Sony doesn't usually express their distress or their concern. Perhaps that means that Ubisoft is pulling
Not
the
again!
deluxe
Not again! Not again! Not again!
Getting hacked.
Oh, she ran through the fucking fire.
Yeah, that does happen.
And I died because of it. Because I got tickled by it.
But yeah, so that's the really interesting stuff going on with Skull and Bones, just kind of wacky and wild.
Oh, hey,
I've also
Beverly.
seen some other
Give me a minute.
game news stuff going on. So Dead Space remake comes out in about a week.
Yep.
Well, if you
I've
fixed
locked
up
in my
soon.
pre-order.
Thanks, hon.
Amazon says it'll still be a couple of days. We'll see how that actually shakes out. They're telling me the 31st, but we'll see. Sometimes this stuff goes back and forth. So obviously that's a pretty big one. In generally, people seem very jazzed about that. It looks like it's going to be good. I'm down to con, ready to pre-order. That also means that a little bit after that, Forspoken will come out.
Yep.
On PS5, and I don't think PC is right away, but it's still close enough that they are releasing PC specs. Apparently, if you want to run Forspoken at high levels, it's very demanding. People are joking about it being the new Can It Run Crysis. There are also some shots of the running it on the lower specs, looking a little ugly, looking a little muddy. That's kind of be expected then when you run games on low specs. But also it seems like not a lot of outlets are receiving review copies of Forspoken from Square.
That's weird.
Yes, that's a little unusual. Now, that's not necessarily unheard of. We talked about this with some stuff coming out around when Sonic Frontiers came out. Sega, for instance, has played a little fast and loose with review copies before, including on Sonic Frontiers, which made a lot of people really worried, and then that game turned out to be okay. Aggressively okay. Some parts of it were really good. Some parts of it were kind of mid. And in general, I think it, really grew on people and got some extra fixes. And then, similarly, I feel like I don't know if there was no reviews listed on it anywhere or anything, but I feel like Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's in kind of a similar place where that game is very obviously flawed, but lots of people are having fun, myself included, regardless of any weirdness. So, I don't know. We'll have to see when it actually comes out. I played the Forspoken demo. It seems like really interesting. There's a lot of stuff going on. But also it seems very ambitious. It's possible maybe that, the game seems like it had a lot of complexities, that maybe stuff isn't working so good right away. We might be looking at, some day one patch situations and stuff. Obviously, like I said, there are screenshots of, I assume, the PC version with the graphics, turned down, looking fairly butt ugly out of context, but I don't... once again, after Scarlet and Violet, guys, I can't really take people posting videos or screenshots on Twitter at face value anymore. It doesn't necessarily mean that's how things will be for everybody. PCs especially are quite temperamental and parts driven, so you can't really guarantee an experience for everybody. Hell, we played Civ again on Thursday, Civ and Chill. Normally it's me who we use up too much memory juice on my computer and I run out of space. Yeah. We did not watch YouTube videos this time, which I think helped some. But after a very solid number of hours, you were the one who actually got boxed out. You got desynced and could not resync, and we couldn't get it to be clean. Yep. And that's just how it happens sometimes, If you're gonna argue who technologically that should have happened to, you would not be on the top of my list, but it happens.
It happens. Actually, I'm feeling
so.
Civ. Or maybe Stellaris.
Well, we haven't want to set up Stellaris, and I do want to talk about that a little. But yeah, so I don't know necessarily what not giving out big review copies means for Forspoken. We'll see. I knew I was not pre-ordering that game because it was releasing so close to Dead Space Remake, and that is a game that I really want to enjoy. Also because there've been some other stuff. I've been working on a few things. We've been playing some more Final Fantasy XIV off-stream, and obviously, having big Civ play dates and playing Back 4 Blood and stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not all the way done with Judgment yet, but that means that, after that, Lost Judgment's right around the corner for me as well. Still working my way through that game. And let me just say, again, if you're not sold on Judgment yet, it's a beautiful piece of neo-noir storytelling. It hits all my favorite, classic mystery big hits. Right down to the, all the desperate, moments with the protagonist getting cornered. You get to fucking straight up be like, hey, you're the guy. I know you're the guy. You did the thing. And the guy's like, well, you'll never catch me. Wahaha. You can leave now. What? Why? That's dumb. Whatever. Anyway, I'm going to get you now. And because this is a game by the Yakuza guys, I'm also probably going to beat your ass. Because I understand how these games work. But yeah, no, it's great work. Go check it out. Judgment is also, the first Judgment game is also free on PS Plus.
I know.
I'm sure that sometime this year, Lost Judgment will also end up there. When? I don't know.
I am hoping for a third Judgment installment, though.
Yeah. We'll see when. I would hope for that too, but they got a lot of stuff on their plate. They've got a Gaiden game for Yakuza planned. Obviously, we're very close to Like a Dragon Ishin coming out, the remaster of that. They've shown off some farming mechanics, some farming mini games.
Some people are bamboozled and cannot wait.
Yeah. I mean, if you're bamboozled, you haven't been paying attention to these games. Fucking... Listen, I'm getting good at Crane Game, y'all. Those Koronyans, those are mine. Now, you want me to do the Super Monkey Ball ones? I don't got a good handle on that. A lot of weird... But tubes or squares, I can do that. But yeah, no, so I'm not shocked at all they're going to have weird mini games. They got to come somewhere. They're going to have fucking karaoke, even though it's in the past. But that means that, you know, there's Bucket with Time. Oh, all the classics, guys. It's great. It's going to be a great time. That is high up on my list for February as well. But yeah, so I guess we'll have to see how Forspoken actually shakes out. I'm not going to be, like, upset if the game is mid. I do think that Forspoken is unfortunately taking the place of that game the internet wants to suck. Which is a shame. I feel very badly for games that get that slot for no reason, right? Like, listen, chat, I know. We're on the internet. We make content on YouTube. We say fuck a lot. We can be salty sometimes, okay? There's some stuff out there happening with games. Yeah, I'll just say it. I don't want to get into it because I don't like wasting breath on this game, but Hogwarts Legacy continues to be a big brain stunner for a lot of people, and sometimes not a brain check for anybody, which if you want to buy the game, that's on you, but I feel like some people need a little bit more self-reflection before they do that. But anyway, like I said, I'm getting tired of the discourse. I don't feel like having that discussion right now. But Forspoken doesn't make me feel tired. It just makes me go like, why do we want this game to be bad? Internet, it's fine. What did you want out of this? What are you thinking? Like, I know that what's going on?
Yeah, I lost audio somehow.
That's not good.
That is not good.
I'm still rolling the audio on Audacity. Oh, I'm in top chat. That's why. Let me switch to live chat. Make sure we're catching up on stuff.
Let's see here. Yeah, it's just game audio because I just did my thing. Let me see here. Audio.
So there's a few bugs left in this game. It happens.
Can I change the channel configuration? There we go.
Molotov over here.
I think it's whatever the auto detect was going on. It was like, hey, something weird. And we're like, no.
Hold on. No. Don't freak out now.
Actually, what other auto was it? Cleaner coughing. I guess technically my thing is mono, but yeah, that works. Get to safe room. Hello, guards.
But yes, Chad has also brought something up. Fire Emblem Engage is out now. There was some street date breaking. Some people's pre-orders are arriving. And of course, it's not Fire Emblem without localization discourse, TM. So it's Fire Emblem. Some of the characters are, in their late teens. Some of them are in their early teens or earlier, which is a little weird. But apparently the NA localization team for this has handled this issue by scrubbing out references of romance for a lot of characters and making you just friends.
Okay.
Which is, weird.
I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, like, for little Anna, who is, like, 11... Yeah, okay. I'm sure they're going for, like, the cute childhood marriage promise thing. And also, chat, let me know, how old's Aleer supposed to be? Like, how old's the main character? If we're all characters who are... I understand that we have this real problem these days in the United States with the overuse of the word grooming. If all the characters are 17, that's not a problem. No matter how old you are when you play the game, so long as we're not showing anything. It's okay for 17-year-olds to date 17-year-olds. I'm going to go on a limb and say it's probably okay for 18-year-olds to date 17-year-olds because our relationship, time is an arbitrary context there. I mean, yeah, that could be a little awkward if you're supposed to be like a bajillion years old. But, like, how long have they existed? Because they look like they're a baby. Naturally, because it's Fire Emblem. Like, I don't know. If it's not like I'm 1,000-year-olds in the weird way, like, hey, I have known your people for 1,000 generations. I don't know. Fire Emblem is weird, but, like, yeah, it's just fucking... Yeah, then we should be creeped out if they were just Anyway. This is a thing that is, like, I feel like is a little... I mean, it's often comes up in Fire Emblem localizations. Just for demographic reasons, like, and because of the way a lot of Japanese storytelling works. And, I've seen this brought up before. Also, well, they look great for their age.
Hello.
But also, I was gonna say, in Japan, in general, they assume a lot more responsibilities of their younger people. Like, it's not considered weird to send your,
5-year-old.
Yeah, your small kid out to the convenience store to pick something up. Like, so them assuming that if you're 17 you can handle a sword war, that's not that weird. It is just one of those things where, like, I don't know who makes these decisions, but it used to be pretty common when handling localization around these kind of things and other adaptations to just, rewrite some stuff. And I'm going to be honest, if somebody at IS or whoever was like, no, you can't change this 7 to an 8, yeah, it's probably problematic. And I would say that's probably the better way to say it, because as I've established, the 18 thing really is arbitrary. That is how we've decided that works. Time and space are not always like that. There are people who are real mature at young ages due to circumstance, and there are people who are fucking,
Man-child.
Yes, there are people who are 30 or 40 who don't feel like grown-ass adults sometimes, but... we do have to set some kind of standards for our society, otherwise it gets weird. But, like, I don't know. There's lots of ways you could write around that. I feel like writing it so that we brush over tones that were supposed to be possibly romantic to be friendship. But, again, I don't know. This game's not generational, right? So, I guess it being romantic isn't necessarily required. In general, this is just... Fire Emblem just has this fucking problem.
Fuck it, let's next Fire Emblem, everyone's in the 30 to 40 ranges. No problems then.
Yeah, they should do that.
Well, I mean,
unfortunately, I think they would draw them all like they're 60 is the problem.
Very true as well.
Fire Emblem's character design challenge. Can you draw a 30-year-old to not look like they're 55 years old?
Burn, baby, burn.
But, like, I mean, Three Houses dodged this problem by having a time skip. Like, everybody was in school, and all the characters were, like, a lot of them were, like, 16 or 17, and then you did a 5-year time skip. Mm-hmm. So everybody became 20-somethings. And that, dodged some stuff. And also, there were still some weird relationships. I'm just gonna say, like, you want to talk about, the 1,000-year-old thing. Because, not a lot of people bring it up because, Rhea has, a very full body, but she's also like 1,000-year-old and hitting on us, even though we're like her mom and also like her adoptive, grandchild. It's weird. It's a weird relationship. And I don't think people fight about it too much because, Rhea looks like an adult and is hot. And also, Byleth is probably an adult. Question mark? I don't know what Byleth's emotional maturity is like. They're weird. But yeah, no. Yeah, it's very strange. It's supposed to. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be strange and messy.
Am I kidding?
But yeah, no, like, it just feels to me like, I don't know, maybe N-Gage wanted to go back to like a more classic, straightforward Fire Emblem, like story structure. That does seem to be what a lot of people are saying in the reviews, that the story is pretty mid, pretty straightforward, playing to a lot of classical Fire Emblem tropes, Whereas, like, if you want to get into it, Three Houses is a little bit messy narratively because of how many routes it has and, like, how the information is so scattered between them. I think the game is more interesting for letting you really understand how a lot of the characters really aren't wrong about some of their actions and stuff. It's just that, it's all about, like, circumstances and what people do with their information. The only people who we can understand are definitely 100% in the wrong are those who slither in the dark. Yep. So that unfortunately also, though, on the internet, that caused a lot of strife and discourse because, people would be playing, non-Black Eagles routes and be like, wow, this Edelgard chick is like a Nazi. And then you play Black Eagles and you're like, wow, this Edelgard girl has been, horribly abused by people in power. And there's a reason why she wants to burn everything to the ground in a violent revolution. And by being on her side, she can perhaps choose not to, draw on dark powers for success. Just saying. So, yeah, it's one of those things that maybe they wanted to go for, like, a simpler story structure. Gameplay-wise, it seems like N-Gage is made very good.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Like, a lot of people are saying it's a technical improvement over Three Houses. I gotta be honest, that's cool. That doesn't make me want to buy a Fire Emblem game, just because I hear it plays good.
I mean, one day, but that day is not today.
Yeah, like, that like, on sale, sure. Like, oh, ooh, good deal on N-Gage. I hear that game is good. But it's not the kind of thing where I'm going to go out of my way to pre-order a Fire Emblem game just because people are like, well, the gameplay is pretty choice. Because that's not really... I mean, I love the gameplay style of Fire Emblem. That's not really why I really got sucked into, Fire Emblem on the GBA. It was because, I got really invested into these character narratives and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like... Fire Emblem always has these problems. I feel like the localization team who handles these games should have a fucking 3-ring binder by now on how to do this smarter. Then again, for all I know, the people localizing these games are, were hired, 6 months ago, and none of the guys who worked on the last Fire Emblem game are working at Nintendo anymore. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that guy. Is he on fire?
I don't know. I need a battery, though.
Oh, Legendary, don't underestimate the power of Amazon needs to get physical stock out of their fucking warehouse. I get so many good deals that way. Occasionally you get bamboozled and shit goes out of stock for like 12 months and then comes back full price, but sometimes you can get some deals.
Got it. Let's go.
But yeah, so like I said, I've read about this on the internet. I think some of them are smarter localization choices and some of them are just like... I don't know. If you're changing the whole character dynamics, that gets a little weird. I understand that people are, again, uncomfortable about age levels, but fucking... You're not going to fix Fire Emblem from being weird. I feel like they're invested in the 1,000-year-old dragon god meme now, and they're just not going to stop doing it.
I don't know, look, yeah. Lucky has
Go
his
for it.
thoughts and feelings on it, but honestly, I think people just... I feel people just want to complain about things too much, whether or not they're actually relevant or not.
Yeah. Like, I guess I can kind of see that. Like, I feel like some of the localization choices might be a little silly, but also I'm not gonna fucking riot in the streets about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, then whatever. Again, you know, name more iconic duo, Fire Emblem and you know, localization weirdness. Not even gonna say issues. I'm just gonna say weirdness. It does still happen sometimes. We'll see how it flows. Was there anything else? Small game. Let's browse around.
More information's been coming about Wo Long, which is something that I'm excited about.
Yeah, you're excited about that one?
Yeah, for those who don't know, this one is going to be the Chinese, the wuxia. I think it's pretty wuxia. Neo, because I think a lot of people are calling it basically Team Ninja's Sekiro, with how a lot of the guys, are you okay? You okay, guys? Okay. Sorry, they're just kind of standing there taking it as they contemplated their fucking life.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel good.
But they've been pulling out a lot of systems and talking about like the battle flag system. Like they have like traditional leveling and whatnot, but if you find battle flags and plant them, which you can find just about anywhere apparently, you can get a buff or something to increase your effectiveness in certain levels. So you gotta explore the terrain, jump up on things, climb things, go over things. Much more open than previously.
Yeah.
Neo games are, I wouldn't say they're straight corridors, but they're pretty corridor.
Yeah. I mean, they did come with a jump button, but yes, having seen you play a decent amount of Neo 2, that's definitely a game where like they're not afraid of verticality, but it's a lot of confined spaces and stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably, if you're going for a more wuxia look, that's probably a good time to open up your exploration. You know, there's a reason why a lot of those like stories and films and stuff are known for their wire work.
Yeah.
Like you know you want to stretch your legs, get some big soaring jumps in there.
I'm excited for that. Like I said, I'm gonna be packed the next. Well, I'm not super packed, but I think I got a fair amount of good games coming out. Like we have Dead Space. I haven't actually locked in my pre-order yet. I really should. But we got Dead Space. We got Mahoyo coming. Like a Dragon Ishin. And then following that will be Wo Long, because I believe that is early March.
March 3rd. Yes,
Yeah.
just looked it up.
Nice.
But expect Lucky to be day oneing that one as well. I didn't day one Neo or Neo 2 because I wasn't sure about it, but having played both of them, I'm confident in what Team Ninja has to offer.
This won't hurt.
Yeah.
I owe you one.
And it's the same director as Neo and Neo 2, and the producer was the producer for Bloodborne.
Propane tank over here.
So expect some fun stuff there. Yeah.
Think we've got
Oh, hey, interesting. Sorry, I was just looking at lists of games coming out. The World War Z video game, which is another, you know, Zambo Horde shooter. I think that one's a little more fidgety than Back 4 Blood, but that's getting a next-gen version this month.
Oh, I never played it.
PS5 and Xbox Series X. I've seen some gameplay. It looked kind of interesting, but probably going to be busy with some other stuff, so we'll sit out on that one yet. But let's see. Okay, that's anything else. February.
Ammo over here.
Ooh, I should also need to keep a line on keep an eye out for Theater Rhythm Final Bar line. I admit it's probably because of the accounts I follow, but I feel like they're doing a decent amount of push to remind you that there's a lot of, Final Fantasy XIV's been out for like 12 years, so there's a lot of soundtrack to explore there.
Why do we think this was a good idea? I'm just listening to everyone yell as this bus just goes rolling down. What the fuck?
Oops. Let's see. Yeah, and then Ishin is February 21st. Anything else crazy? Oh god, does that Scars Above game really come out in February? I don't feel like I saw enough marketing for that game to be coming out next month.
That's how it be sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we'll see how that one shakes out.
Stop giving me the. Well, I got a
I
shotgun
think
now,
that's
so I don't fucking care.
that's some of the big ones coming out in that. And then March, obviously, you're going to be looking at Wolong right away at the start, March 3rd. Jedi Survivors going to be March 17th.
Oh Jesus!
Oh yeah, no, March is the hell month. For you especially, but yeah, you've got Wolong right at the start there. You're looking at both Star Wars Jedi Survivor and that Bayonetta prequel are coming out on March 17th, same day. And the RE4 remake is March 24th. It's a big slamma jamma.
I'm probably just gonna do.
For me, April is gonna be the motherfucker month. That's gonna be Grim Grimoire Once More, April 4th. Mega Man Battle Network Collection, April 14th. That's also when the Horizon Forbidden West DLC comes out. That's Burning Shores. That's gonna be April 19th, and then we round out April with Dead Island 2 on the 28th.
Oh, Dead Island 2 is something I'm excited about.
Yeah, actually, it seems like it's going to be a good year for classic Zambo Survival. And then it seems like, you know, getting Back for Blood for free. Got the next gen of World War Z coming out, and Dead Island 2 is a brand new game. Let's see. We don't know much about May, but that's going to be probably one of the tent poles of this year because that's Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Honestly, I'm not gonna be surprised if everyone just starts pulling out of April. They're like, nope, it ain't happening.
Well, there's like 4 other games announced. You've got Age of Wonders 4. Actually, I don't know. How is that series pronounced? Is it pronounced Yeast or Wise? I don't think I've ever heard anybody say it out loud.
I've always heard it was geese.
Yeah, so Yeast 9, Monstrum Nox. The console port of... Oh, no, it's everywhere. Endless Dungeon is coming out. Neat. Okay, must be leaving early access. And what somebody would want you to think is a big tentpole game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I think that's been delayed a little bit, though, so they're probably going to come out firmly in May. They're late May. Tears of the Kingdom is mid-May.
So many people lived around
June is also... it's got 3 games, but all of them are big franchise titles. That's going to be Street Fighter 6, Diablo 4, and Final Fantasy 16.
I mean, that's something for everybody, I think, right there.
Yeah, no, that's like something. Yeah, and that's about it. There's like a couple of July releases. For instance, Legend of Heroes Trails to Reverie is July 7th, but we don't have a lot yet. Though they would like to remind us that some stuff is coming out. Assassin's Creed Mirage is supposed to be this year, for instance. And obviously, like, I'm assuming that's going to be fucking December, but Armored Core 6 is supposed to come out this year. We'll see if they actually hit that date.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I honestly don't.
They haven't, fucking, Miyazaki said that they've still got more for Elden Ring in the can in this year, so, like, I don't know. Again, no exact details, though they've been teasing some stuff, but sometime this year, Alan Wake 2 is supposed to come out.
Also
Very
don't believe
excited
this
for that
one.
Yeah, I don't know, but they've been working to it for a while. We'll see. Let's see.
Like, if I don't get, like, something like this summer, like at the Summer Game Fest or anything about, like, something, I don't believe it. I won't believe it. Nope.
Over there.
You're supposed to keep your potential investors happy by letting people know that things are in the works.
Yeah.
Bong.
Obviously, you know. Oh, actually, I should mention Eternites. That was in PlayStation Sizzle Reel. That's supposed to be this year. That's the anime ass looking game with the glowy hand and the hand holding button.
It's important, okay?
Yeah. But before I saw that in this list, I was going to bring up. I see a lot of outlets saying, technically, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this year. I do want to remind everybody that's not how Square phrased that. They said this winter, Crisis Core remaster, next winter, 7 Rebirth. While Crisis Core did come out in December, They did not necessarily say that Rebirth would be coming out in December.
I'm
They phrased it
thinking
as winter for a reason.
I'm thinking early February, actually.
Yeah, at this rate, it seems like, you know, they're building up to stuff. And I know that I believe Square and Final Fantasy are holding on to some stuff in their pocket. There's been teased there's going to be a big non-16, non-14, non-7 Final Fantasy news sometime. So a lot of people are assuming 8 or 9 remake.
Tactics remake, let's go.
I'm down for that. Go for it.
Listen, I would like a modern Tactics. I was playing Tactics, I like it, but there's just some systems I'm just like, I don't like this.
Yeah, and even Tactics Ogre that's a remake as well, you know.
Yeah.
Once you've completed the
And I like Triangle Strategy. It doesn't play quite. It's not quite the same. It's kind of in a median space in its own right. It did pretty good though, so I think Square Enix is still on the line for more tactics RPGs. Let's see. Scrolling down through this list, it's alphabetical. What else we got? Oh yeah, I remember that trailer. That was just such a weird name title. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. That's something that Annapurna is publishing. I think I mentioned this on an earlier stream somewhere, but Marvel Spider-Man 2 is supposed to come out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that Insomniac is on track for that.
I think so as well.
Whenever Sony's got a big state of play lined up, which I believe there are some state of play rumors circulating that they might be lining one up, that'll be a thing. I know they just had a lot of trailers drop because they just announced their starting lineup for PSVR 2.
Holding, huh? So.
This looks like it.
No,
Oceancraft from the PS5, 4, and Switch.
I think the thing I'm like I need most my news on right now is on Stellar Blade.
Yep, that's supposed to be this year. That was in PlayStation Sizzle Reel.
Like not a
I would
lot of
appreciate
news on
the
that.
news.
Yeah, it looks like they've done a lot of work with it. It has been in development in a couple years, so I'm hopeful. But also Shift Up, they have like multiple dev studios, but they are working on 2 gacha games and this as well. So who knows?
And I know you guys didn't have a lot to complain it. Well, at least I didn't see it anyway. I don't always go in gacha games, but I know that like on the internet in general, Nikkei has had like some technical like faffing around to talk about.
Yes.
Like people, the game did not necessarily like.
It did not have the smoothest launch, no, and it still has a lot of bug fixes going on.
Yeah, so you know, but at the very least, like I said, Sony believes enough in that game to put it in their sizzle reel for this year coming to PlayStation. So
listen, just about everyone I know is calling it Korean Nier.
I mean, that's what it really looks like. Even down to like a lot of the Orby mechanics. You know, they had a lot of orbs going on. But that's not the only game that like PlayStation has been teasing for a long time that's been taking a while to come out. Chia, you know, or Chia is one of those ones that like they've been saying will be coming out forever and it's taken a while to get there. The System Shock remake is also still supposedly coming out this year. I'd love to see some more on that one. Oh, we don't have a date on Space Marine 2 yet. That's fair. And also, this was the reason why we got confused by Hellboy at the Game Awards. Wolf Among Us 2 is also supposed to come out sometime this year. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But, you know, we say that a lot. Starfield is supposed to be coming out this year as well. I believe that... Did Xbox actually announce they have a dev conference coming up? Or is that just a rumor?
I would not know. I pay almost no attention to them.
Oh, no, that's true. I'm asking mostly chat. If they know.
I'm interested in Starfield, but not so much that I'm going to be, keeping my finger on the pulse.
No. Also, again, for people, talking about that, Starfield, at least for the way I perceive it through like trends on Twitter and stuff, Starfield seems to just spontaneously generate hype by being like the only possible good Xbox exclusive game. I'll say it. We all know it. 343 Industries, who makes Halo, just announced a bunch of layoffs, and there's rumors that they're going to be like turning to work with other studios to handle future Halo games. Some of that got blown out of proportion as they were going to stop developing Halo games entirely and outsource all of them. That seems to not be the actual case. But they did have some big layoffs and cutbacks there, so it's a thing. But we did mention Stellaris earlier. We were talking about games to play on Thursday, and I did mention that we still haven't ever multiplayered Stellaris.
I'm still not sure how that's gonna turn out, though. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, we're gonna see. We'll see if it works, because it is technically real time. But I don't personally ever have any issues with. I mean, it's a console exclusive. It's immediately going on PC. But people don't also really, when talking about like PlayStation exclusives, they also don't talk about the fact that some of them will usually, like within a year, be on PC as well. So, yeah. But you may be right that it is not an Xbox exclusive, and then once again we get down to the point that, does Xbox have any exclusives? Why should you buy an Xbox, actually? It seems to be up in the air. I'm pretty sure that overall the Game Pass catalog is still a little tighter than PlayStation's, because Xbox is better about day and date releases on Game Pass than Sony, it seems, is going to be with the PS Plus stuff, but
To be
PS
fair,
Plus is growing a pretty
yeah,
bulky backlog.
like I said, they're constantly coming out with new stuff. Like
And-
I said, they're trying to. I think they're trying to make up grounds for having such a very, very late start to all of this.
Yeah, and they feel like they're doing a really good job to make sure that they are securing what they see as like really big franchise games. Like, they have gone out of their way to be like, hey, Square, give us all your Final Fantasy titles you can play on a PlayStation. Fucking give me all of Kingdom Hearts, you know. They are working very diligently with Sega and Ryuga Gotoku to get, I think, like, all the Yakuza games ever on there.
Yeah.
You know, shit like that. Like, they have a lot of Capcom stuff. And, you know, Resident Evil games are on there and stuff. So, like, they... And who knows, maybe it's part of their business relationship that, like, Sony is like, hey, we're not going to try and, like, outbid you and pay for day and date. We know you want to sell your games on your... When you feel like you're ready to, like, take a deal for ongoing, you know, content on our, like, service, we'll get you there, you know, kind of a thing. Like, you can't say that Sony doesn't necessarily seem to have a little bit of a better relationship with some Japanese developers. But yeah, there's a lot going on there. And obviously, you know, that is the thing. PlayStation does go out of their way to make, even if it's timed, really solid exclusive games, you know? Like, they're really trying to raise their brand identity and be on the ball with shit like God of War, Horizon, Last of Us. Oh, actually, I don't know if you mentioned this on WhatsApp at all, or anywhere else on air, but apparently people do like the Last of Us HBO show.
Yeah.
Come out. People.
Well, like
people
I
seem to
said,
be vibing.
like, I don't know. It might be because of I don't know what the effect is, but when you see something really, really bad, other things next to it look good in comparison. I don't know what that's called, but with Velma and the Last of Us show releasing so close to us, I don't know people's things, but I have seen a lot of positive things, like some of the plays, first timers and latecomers.
Yeah.
So,
and like we said, Sony is definitely on the ball, probably with their marketing of being like, and when you're ready, here's Last of Us Part 2. God knows they might actually announce a Last of Us Part 3. Don't ask me how that will work. Will get even more depressing.
that's
I kind of hope that. I know they keep, like, I think there's like rumors out of Naughty Dog and stuff that they are in fact working on like a part 3, and I'm just like, oh my god, guys, I know your franchise is like really best selling, but please don't do something upbeat.
Let's go back to Jak and Daxter, yo.
That was a dark twist that works, but also yeah, give me the full remaster treatment on fucking Jak and Daxter. Rebuild that game from the ground up. Or yeah, Axe just said make the Sully and Sam game. Yeah. After Lost Legacy, yeah, give me a fucking Sully and Sam. Ooh. That'd be a heck of a game. You know, there's plenty of room there. And obviously mechanically, there is supposed to be that multiplayer, you know, game. That game that was originally Last of Us Part 2's multiplayer component that they're gonna come out sometime. But like, yeah, I don't know. There are times when I feel like Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann are like, they feel like they're a little obsessed with having people acknowledge that Last of Us is actually like, you know, really deep and good. And there's a lot of people on the internet who are mad for not great reasons, but still, like, people are upset by the way that Last of Us Part 2 went over. I understand why they are upset. It makes me kind of not keen to get into that game, because it feels like I'm just gonna get served a depression sandwich at the end.
I do not like depression sandwiches.
Listen, we just lived through shit like fucking COVID and other nonsense. Sometimes you need to lighten it up a little. Or even if you're gonna tackle dark stuff, you know, you gotta have a sense of humor about it. Like this game, Back 4 Blood. Like, you know, it's been a long time since I've heard game characters who are this, like, catty about shooting each other in the back. There's lots of friendly fire quotes in this game, just like Left 4 Dead.
God damn that man.
Oh, actually, there's actually some great memes in this.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta... Actually, no, I can't. Wait, no. Actually, yeah, I can leave and come back to this. But...
Yeah, you just gotta save house.
Like, they take a bunch of classic memes and just put their characters over them, like some other people do.
Nice.
Let's see if I can find some of them. Like, they make a lot of classic references. Let me see if I can find any of them in here, just off the cuff. Because they let you do a lot of customization and certain things. Okay, maybe not in here, but maybe some in the spray. Like, we have Mom doing math. We have the fucking Gendo pose. Think. Let's see. I think there was some at the bottom here too. Let me in.
Classic.
That is a classic. Aliens. You know, this game's just... I get a hearty kick just randomly.
Yeah, that's good. That's the kind of self-awareness stuff I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. But yeah, so we're planning on maybe setting up some multiplayer Stellaris because I brought it up, and that did put into rotation. We were asking about, oh yeah, we should double check on, you know, you asked, if there's any cool mods for Stellaris, let me know. And I'm like, oh yeah, I've never tried modded Stellaris. We got some recommendations from some of our guys in the gaming group. At one point, I was like, you had me at Gigastructures. You guys should know I'm a big sci-fi guy, and megastructures and that kind of shit is, I love that stuff. Give me some weird space shit. I also found some, like, extra planetary diversity mods. You guys should also know by now that I like weird planet stuff. And there's a lot of weird planets out there. Like, not just hypothetically, but things we've observed. Once again, there's a planet where it rains diamonds.
Ooh, yes, perfect. I've been looking for that one.
But it's funny that we're having this conversation because Stellaris did just announce a new X-Pack coming soon. It is going to be the First Contact pack. And some press has come out about this, and they're saying that basically First Contact DLC is going to be what some previous game DLCs were for other subsystems. For instance, the Federation update for, like, you know, alliances and federations and stuff. First Contact is going to be for primitives.
Yes.
So if you guys don't know, we've talked about Stellaris before, but if you don't know the system, Stellaris is a, big boy real-time Space 4X game. There's big galaxy maps, all kinds of advanced sci-fi and shit, all these different planets you can explore. So sometimes while you're scouting around, your empire, your, space government, your species can find a primitive species still bumming around. They'll be at different ages, depending on, just random factors. Sometimes they're like in the Stone Age. Others might actually be in like the Space Age. And normally what you do in game if you see them is you can try and you normally have to park a observation station over them. It gives you a little bit of extra science generation. And you can choose to do some other stuff if you want to. Like you can, try and deliberately uplift them, especially if they're like a pre-sapient species. You can, forcibly evolve them into being intelligent and add them to your empire. You can, kidnap them for alien experimentation. You can forcibly invade and subjugate them and add them to your empire if they're that kind of thing. But it's all pretty straightforward and not very deep, and doesn't really. It works on a very simplified axis.
Yes.
Like your options are basically like observe them and do nothing, and wait for like random events to be like, we've observed these guys long enough, we could invite them to join our empire now, or you just fucking take them over and then nothing happens with it. So the first contact is going to like actually turn interacting with primitive species into a system similar to your normal diplomacy screen. They've shown some screenshots. It will actually track like what tech level they are at, and you will have an awareness meter, and that will go up and down depending on what you're doing. For instance, if like that primitive species is in their early spaceflight era, or even if they're in their industrial era, if they have telescopes, they might notice your constantly hovering space station or war cruiser sitting in their orbit. Whereas if they're... Go ahead.
I'm sorry, that reminds me of a fucking episode of Star Trek Voyager. It was a very specific one where Voyager got stuck on a planet's orbit that had like accelerated time. And the inhabitants basically went through their entire civilization just looking at that star, and that was the reason, looking at the ship as a star. And that was the entire reason their civilization advanced, because they were always trying to reach it, to the point that they actually surpassed Voyager in technology and was able to pull them out of the fucking orbit. It was wild.
Yeah.
I hope something crazy like that happens.
Well, there's supposed to be it's supposed to be a story-focused DLC, so there will be a whole shitload of new random events to pop up.
Hello.
So, love when we get that weird stuff. But also, like, this awareness meter can still go up if you're still doing big stuff. Even if this primitive species is in the Stone Age, if you, I don't know, blow up one of their moons or something, they're probably going to notice and write stories about it, And I don't think it was explicit, but it's definitely implied that you can do, like, classic sci-fi shit where you might be able to, appear as this primitive species, gods kind of a thing. Perhaps if you're going for a more, like, fanatical or religious bent. The trailer itself shows, like, a very, like, a classic sci-fi, like, actual first contact day where, like, a giant ship uncloaks and there's a whole bunch of people with flyers, like, cheering on, that kind of stuff. So, like, I'm down to clown with this kind of mechanical expansion. There's a lot of core systems to Stellaris, and there's some stuff that could definitely use some refinement, and Primitives is definitely the kind of thing that could be cooler, and this seems like a good way to do that. Yes, it's going to cost you, $10, but that's how they keep funding the fact that they've been making this game constantly for, like, 4 years? They've been working on it a while. Well, that also reminds me, Paradox just announced early access for another game that I'm interested in. Surviving the Abyss. It's like Surviving Mars, but what if you built Rapture from BioShock?
Oh.
Yeah, it's explicitly like an alternate history as well. It's set in like the 70s or 80s. You're trying to build experimental like labs on the seafloor to like study advanced cloning technology and stuff. So I'm like, damn, that's cool. That's just hit early access. I should check that out sometime on Steam. Because I really like Surviving Mars, and I also like despite my crippling fear of the ocean, once we're actually under the ocean, I think that's cool. It's the liminal period, the transitional phase that bothers me a lot, and the motion of the ocean. But since this is Earth's ocean, I'm pretty sure we don't have to worry about giant armored jellyfish ramming into our habitats.
I've never tried surviving Mars or what was it? Surviving what was the farther one? The moon?
No, I think it's is it called Surviving the End? They have a post-apocalyptic one. I think it's their other big game in the series so far.
Okay. Like I said, I love me some good survival games.
Yeah. And if you like, you know, if anybody out there you like, you know, it's also the same dev team who make like City Skylines, I believe. It's that same like studio under Paradox. So like, if you like city or settlement or colony builders and dealing with, you know, constant resource problems and shit like that, that's, you know, that's Surviving Mars, and I assume Surviving the Abyss is going to be very similar because, much like Mars, you know.
Gotta take care of this.
Hey, I mean, like, that's how all hostile environments go. If something breaks when you're on Mars, that's just pure carbon up there. Pure CO2, baby, and a little bit of argon. That reminds me, I have a save file in Surviving Mars that I started with the Green Mars DLC. I never finished greenifying Mars. I should go back to that save game sometime. But yeah, so, you know, news coming out about Stellaris and stuff. Always fun to see. I like that game a lot. I'm bad at completing it because it's a game that takes a very long time to play, much like Civ. But it's fun. Neat. Hide in a nest. Neat. Where the there you go. I'm about to say, where the fuck are you supposed to put this?
I'm not sure. Was there a way I could pick it up? I guess not. Whatever.
But yeah, so the only thing left in my list is just, you know, I just like to let you guys know stuff that's going on with me. I'll occasionally, you know, boot up Netflix or whatever to check in stuff and add to my growing Netflix queue of terror. And occasionally I will just randomly pick up a show, and sometimes I will watch it through, and sometimes I will watch a couple of episodes. I think I mentioned there was a single season earlier. I may have mentioned it, and if not, I will bring it up now. There was a Netflix series called The Recruit. That's like 8 episodes. I watched all of it. If you like espionage type, you know, thrillers, it's an interesting take. The main character in that show is a freshly hired lawyer for the CIA, so he's from their legal department, and has to like handle a lot of issues dealing with like how they do their business, and also just how like, you know, cutthroat and paranoid even being a lawyer at the CIA is, and then he gets thrust into real boy espionage shit. So check it out. It's a decent series. But I also just happened to catch, because Netflix just throws me stuff. And again, I probably mentioned this before, but if this is new news to you, it should not come as a shock to hear, chat, that I am fond of police procedurals and medical drama. Anything where we do problem solving and interpersonal stuff, usually where I'm at. But Netflix just threw a trailer for me for a TV series called New Amsterdam, and somehow I have watched all 2 seasons of it that are available on Netflix already. I think there's 2 more seasons coming February 1st, and I think their 5th season and final season, confirmed to be their final season, hasn't aired yet. But basically, the reason why I got into it is, let me give you guys the same elevator pitch as I got from the trailer. Our main character is Dr. Max Goodwin. Great fiction name, Dr. Goodwin. He is the newly hired medical director of a fictional hospital called New Amsterdam. It's a stand-in for Bellevue Hospital in New York. So a very famous, very old hospital. They actually use Bellevue for the exterior shots. The hospital is like really big and famous, but it's a public hospital, you know, it's not a private, so, you know, they have a lot of stuff going on there, but they talk about how it's got, you know, all kinds of facilities, you know, fully staffed surgery, they've got a, you know, maternity ward, daycares, all kinds of intensive care units. They have a built-in psych ward. You know, they talk about in the show about how they were, you know, one of the first hospitals in America to have a maternity ward, standalone kind of a thing. They have a built-in corrections ward because they also serve, you know, medical issues at the Rikers prison. You know, very famous prison in New York kind of a thing. So it's a big old hospital with lots of history, and they need a new medical director because it's a real stress to run the place. So Max Goodwin comes in, he holds, you know, big all-hands meeting, and he's like, all right, he says the show's catchphrase, how can I help? You know, gets all this stuff out from the departments, and he's like, okay, you know what I'm going to do? Everybody in our you know, cardio surgery department, you're all fired. Everybody's fired, except he finds out the one guy he likes, he rehires him, and that becomes a recurring character. Because, you know, you guys, you build too much, and you make too much money, and you don't fix enough people. So we're going to solve that problem, and that's basically the tone of the show. It's, you know, I think a little, like, unrealistic in its bent, but we talked earlier about how, you know, I've had enough of just shit being real depressing. The show is very much aimed for those, you know, positive feels where, like, every episode, you know, Max and all of his staffers are going to try to do their best for everybody in the hospital so that they get the care they need without worrying about stuff. They talk a lot about how, you know, they like to emphasize they are a public hospital. They serve everybody. They don't care if you have insurance, though they will still run down the bills. They got to keep the lights on kind of a thing. And kind of like how, as a character, like, for instance, I realized this while I was thinking about the show. I don't know what kind of Dr. Max is. Like, he's an admin, so it doesn't come up a lot, but he will pitch in if there's a medical issue. But I don't think they've ever talked about, like, what his training was, what his specialization is supposed to be. So I guess he's, you know, general practitioner. But, you know, they'll pitch in for the medical mysteries and the drama about this, that, or that other thing. But a lot of the time it's just like they're trying to just solve normal healthcare shit. But, you know, as real life is complicated, so like somebody won't have any money. You know, somebody will be undocumented or whatever. It should not remind you of that at all, Axe, because it has nothing to do with that. That's Phase Anatomy is very tropey and is pure medical mystery. New Amsterdam doesn't lean as heavily on the medical mystery. Like, usually they'll have at least one through line, which is like, oh, some patient is suffering from something. We haven't figured it out yet. We'll go through a couple diagnoses and we'll figure it out. I think this, as opposed to like something like House. House is a very classic medical drama that is almost always medical mystery. It takes you the whole hour to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this person. And remember, it's never lupus. But New Amsterdam, I think its strength and why I got sucked into it is it's got a big ensemble cast, and they rotate through them pretty well. You know, you've got one character is the head doctor of their emergency room. The first episode twist is that our main character, Max Goodwin, the administrator, he actually has cancer. Oh. He has a throat cancer that he is technically dying of right away in episode 1. You're right, Axe. There was actually one episode of House where it finally was lupus.
But that's the joke.
Yes, that is the joke. There was one time it was lupus. Every other time, it's not lupus. But yeah, so that brings in another one of our characters. Another one of the major doctors is their head director of oncology, who handles a lot of their cancer patients. So, you know, she kind of helps Max out with his cancer. Also played by Freema Agneman, who was a companion and also a doctor on Doctor Who once. Mm-hmm. I like to imagine whenever she gets thinking about how, dude, I used to hang out with David Tennant, that doctor. But I know it's not the same, but it's funny. They have, you know, like I said, they have a built-in psych ward, so they have the head of the psychiatry department. They have a neurologist. They have the you know, cardiothoracic surgeon I mentioned. They've got some other supporting characters and stuff. You know, and there's still like interpersonal drama. When the show starts, the head emergency room doctor is in kind of a friends with benefits relationship with the cardio surgeon, and then they kind of break it off because she wants it to be serious, he doesn't, kind of a thing. You know, so there's some, you know, there's some definitely not normally allowed workplace relationship drama going on. In addition to his cancer, Max has a second subplot where he's trying to save his marriage because he is married and they are expecting a baby. But he's kind of in a strained relationship with his wife because he is a freakish workaholic, high-paced man all the time trying to save everybody forever. So, his wife, who I think her job was professional dancer, and, wants him to, like, calm down and spend more time with her and the future baby and stuff. But he's, constantly racing off to save the world and stuff. So, I understand that healthcare in America is, real fucked up a lot of the time, and the show acknowledges that a lot, but also tries to, be like the idealized form of healthcare, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I do kind of like that in fiction shows where we acknowledge that, hey, in real life, this shit is far from perfect, but we're going to acknowledge that and be like, we're striving to be better. I did notice in the second season, something I didn't quite like is some of the subplots got very ripped from the headlines-y, especially with the, say, psychiatrist character, Dr. Iggy. It starts to get a little preachy. He's out there, trying to directly tackle, not just healthcare shit like the opioid crisis, but also, we need to talk about racism and gun violence in America now. And I'm like, okay, we're getting a little... For a hospital show, we're getting a little heavy-hitting. But, like I said, it's an ensemble cast, and there's lots of subplots, so I was just, okay, fine, and we move on to the next bit with the characters, so we'll see how the future seasons go. The show started in 2018, so the, final episode of Season 2, which is where they're at on Netflix, does actually have, the actors, pipe in via Zoom, because they've got to mention that, by the way, COVID happened. COVID was happening as this, season was finishing airing, so... they had like so many other places, they had a pandemic episode in the can that they had to cancel because it was literally too soon and rework some stuff. And I believe their next seasons will be dealing with, COVID in the context of the setting. So we'll see how that goes.
Take a look at this.
But yeah, it was just something that I was like, I blinked and I'd watched 2 seasons of something while I was doing other shit. So I guess that's a recommendation. Check it out. Sometimes Netflix just throws shit at you. But Lucky exploded a guy, and we've been talking for almost 3 hours. We should probably wind this on down. Lucky, you got anything else you want to talk about on this fine What's Up this evening?
No, we went a little bit longer with the anime awards than I thought, so I don't think it'd be a good time to talk about anime. I got quite a few thoughts on quite a few shows, so... next time, maybe next week will be a little bit more thin. I can get those thoughts out. Maybe.
Well, we'll get to them, yeah. Maybe when you can have a game you can pause.
Yeah, that would definitely help. Trust me.
Okay, well, let's wind on down then. Send y'all on your way. If you haven't already, make sure to pop on back and check out this week's Let's Talk FGO. And future shit, I feel like we're doing something Axe later, but we'll figure out what exactly.
Yeah.
I do have to edit this audio for probably 30 minutes. But speaking of editing the audio, let's wrap up the wind down here. So if you like this video, be sure to give it a like on YouTube. Help that algorithm. Feed us more. You can leave your comments in the comment section down below, or join our Discord. Link in the video description on our channel page. You can talk about games in the Discord. If you're down to clown for certain games, you might even be able to, get some time in there. We've been expanding the Final Fantasy XIV circle a little bit lately.
Yeah.
If that's a game that you are playing or interested in playing. You can also subscribe if you haven't already to get more of everything we do video-wise. Slap us the subs and check us out. And if you're already subscribed, make sure to ring that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video. Or we do a stream. Such as our Monday streams. Still working through God of War Ragnarok. Check it out next time. Where we've last left off on the plot is announced Heimdall must die. Will it actually work out that way? Well, you have to tune in. I don't even know, because I'm still playing the game. There you go. There's the drama for you. Tune in. Watch God of War Ragnarok. You can also join our channel memberships. Get access to membership badges and emotes, such as you can see displayed in our lovely live chat window to the side. It's a fun time. Also helps support us. You can also support us on Patreon, like I mentioned earlier. Get access to this episode in audio format, downloadable for as little as $1 a month, or approximately $10 a year. There is a annual discount. At higher levels, you can vote in certain topic polls and stuff, and get access to videos early, and listen to us record Let's Talk FGO live, and get access to some other fun privileges. And yeah, I think that's about it.
All right, everyone.
As the beautiful Russian badger would say.
We'll see you next time, everyone.
Night-night. Don't let the ridden bite.